I'm incomplete when you ain't by my side, when you don't wake up next to me. Yeah, I'm incomplete. I need you here tonight to cover up these empty sheets, 'cause I'm incomplete. I'm incomplete. I need you here tonight to cover up this empty sheets, 'cause I'm incomplete.
Yeah, welcome everybody to round number 8 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals, live here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brauer, bringing you guys the action tonight from Unadilla. That is right, we get to go racing in Unadilla virtually this year, despite not going there in real life, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. The Sky Shot, Gravity Cavity, what else? Elevator shaft, so many other awesome features of this racetrack and a lot of cool things to talk about with it. But before we go racing on this track tonight, let's jump into the qualifying times. These guys had a couple days to qualify, and we're going to see exactly who ended up on the top of the sheets there. It was Isaiah Dickerson with a 2:10.8 and a 2:10.867 out of Colby Eaglin right behind him, so they almost matched each other's times. Nathan Prinn on a 2:11.1, Payson Johnson on a 2:11.3, and Jaden Wilson on a 2:12.3. But our points leader, Tyler Lang, down in 7th, actually, on a 2:13.1. Lang has creeped up slowly but surely and got himself this championship lead here late in the season, and is going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch, especially as he's been crushing it in the GP scene as well. Here's everybody 37 on back, though. Michael Mudge, Thomas Sunis, Erickson, Hockey, Schaefer, Paz, Bloxham, Kazarian, and Plessinger all ran laps. Whether or not we have all of these guys in the server and we'll be doing a consolation race, I don't know just yet, but we'll look in just a moment. Here is the point standings, though. Very close to atop the championship standings. There's only 22 points separating first back to fourth. It's anybody's race still with these final 3 rounds. Final 4 rounds, because we're doing 8, 9, 10, and 11 in the next 4 weeks. Tyler Lang, 4-point lead on Payson Johnson, and then 20-point lead back to Colby Eaglin, and a 22-point lead on Braden Carter. But it is any one of those guys' race. They could definitely become a spoiler, either in the championship fight between Lang and Johnson, or Eaglin and Carter could themselves move back into this championship fight and make things interesting down the stretch. Colby Eaglin has been great these last few weeks, and we'll see whether or not he can continue that trend. But let's jump in the server and see whether or not we do have this consolation race going. I think we probably will, just judging by the fact that there was more than a couple people that ran laps beyond the 40th time. But we'll see. Anyway, glad to have you all here tonight. Lovely evening here. Well, really, wherever you are, hopefully it's a good evening, and we're set to do some serious racing. We're going to do 4 motos, maybe 2 consolation races, live here at Unadilla, 30 minutes plus 2 laps each moto. And if you're new to this format, maybe you haven't seen it before. I think a lot of you guys probably have. We're doing 250 class only first, so because of that, everybody that is racing 250 class, they can go in the server now, get those UIDs grabbed, and it's just them for the next hour and a half. Then the 450 guys can come in later, get their UID grabbed so that they don't have to be here for the 250 stuff, and then they do all their stuff later. So it is literally the 250 consolation race coming up first, then 250 Moto 1, then 250 Moto 2, then we'll have a little bit of an intermission, come back on the other side of that break with 450 consolation race, 450 Moto 1, and 450 Moto 2. So that is the agenda here tonight. And if you haven't already, like I said, might I invite you to buckle up your seatbelt in your chair if you have one. I don't think many people do at their desk, but if you do, just by chance, go ahead and buckle in. Grab yourself a nice beverage, maybe a good snack or two, and enjoy a lovely evening of racing here with us for the next about 3 to 3.5 hours. And it does indeed look like we have a consolation race that will be ran. How many people are in this, though, is the real question. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 riders in this consolation race. Oh, man. That's... I don't know, Jeremy. Jeremy Cohenauer running this series. I think I just let those 2 other guys start back row. If it were me. Oh, well, it says there's going to be 7. Yeah, I would let them start back row, I think. Anyway, we are not letting them start back row, it would seem. And we got a consolation race on the docket for you people. So starting off the night with 4 laps. 4 riders go through the main motos. Let's find out who they are right now as we're off and running consolation race live here at Unadilla. The drag race into the first corner around the outside. Tomasunis tries to get it, but it's going to be one of those KTMs. Daniel Paz. Oh, and he yard sails going into the second corner. So it will be Tomasunis who officially grabs the whole shot in this consolation race. It's Tomasunis. Looks like Ericsson's around the outside, and I think I saw Kyler Hockey going down the inside as everybody's trying to funnel in the background here. Looks like Chandler Bloxham might be in the mix as well. And is that Mudge on the 761? It is. He just got around Bloxham on that 360. And then Hockey there on the 79. Shout out Travis Marks in chat. It's $10 donation. He says, Kellen's voice gives me wood. Well, Mark's dog, your voice is just as good, I promise. I'm actually a little bit surprised sometimes when I go in studio to do the Pulp Show that you are not brought into the show a little bit more often, because I think you got a good voice for radio, good sir. But I appreciate the donation, Mark's dog. And I haven't heard back yet whether or not you did get that job that you were looking to get, but hopefully things are working out well there. And if you did or did not get it, whether or not you get it, I guess I should say, hopefully you still are able to do the show. But once again, I appreciate the donation. All right, back out front, heading up to the Sky Shot the first time. It's going to be Nick Tomasunis. I believe he is out of Florida, riding this CC number 507. And he'll bring us down to the Sky Shot the first time. Does he got a nice whip for us? Nope, but he's going to go straight up in the air. 12 o'clock boys for us. Ericsson gets sideways. Mudge a little flick. Hockey does an oppo. Blocks him sideways. Almost got some dualies. So even though we've only got 7 guys out on track right now, it's still good to see that there's some whips being thrown. I think on the Sky Shot, the first lap of every moto, I'm just going to leave it on that camera and just basically just let you guys enjoy the whippage. There it is. Tomasunis still leading. Remember, these guys go 4 laps, and as the finish line jump is only after the 4th corner coming through Gravity Cavity, they're actually almost about halfway done with this race, because as they come to the flag this time by, they'll be going on to lap number 3. And Tomasunis has got a nice little gap working here on TM Factory Racing's number 214. Rider out of Sweden, it is Rasmus Eriksson. Eriksson still leading the way from Mudge and Hockey. And the front 4 in this little group has separated from the rest of the pack, at least for the time being. So Hockey is safe in his 4th position, but I think he's going to try to go after Mudge for this 3 spot if he can. Never really that safe to be in the bubble spot in the consolation race or in a last chance qualifier for we're in Supercross. So Hockey does not want to sit in this position for long if he can help it. Clearly putting the pressure on Michael Mudge. Oh, I thought he might have an inside move there, but Mudge powers around the outside. And now Hockey switches up his line as they head into the back. Seems like the lines kind of funnel into the inside there. And then coming through here, curious to see if we're going to see anybody able to triple over the top of that really steep table down there. I'm sure later on in these 250 motos we'll have an opportunity to see the top guys try some unique lines at least. So Hockey's keeping the pressure on, but like I said, big gap to P5 behind him, which is currently, oh man, Hockey, big oppo whip. But it is Kazarian back there about 3 seconds down in 5th. So really, Kazarian seems to be the only rider still within a shot of trying to make it into this moto. It doesn't seem like Hockey can jump off of any jump without throwing some kind of small oppo whip, as Kazarian behind him landed off the track, and Kazarian actually kind of closing up on Hockey now, so maybe Hockey's got to cool it with the fun a little bit. Suddenly we got a battle for this final transfer spot brewing as they drop down. Look, I call this Screw You. I get that it's called the elevator shaft because Screw You doesn't really make for age-appropriate television in some sense. But it's Screw You to me, so I call it that. I was trying to remember what the proper name was in the intro, but we'll just go with Screw You. Why not? Man, Kazarian closed up quick, but then he goes off the track right there. Yeah, I hear you, Evan Steinberg. This week was one of the first weeks I think last week I used the cameras that were already installed on the track. Normally I create my own camera file that is more of the realistic cameras, but I'll be honest with you, we've been going to the absolute bone at Racer X this week. I mean, I have been just absolutely swamped with work, unfortunately, so I did not get a chance to go down and make my own cameras this week, so I just had to go with the cameras that we got. I apologize that the angles are not ideal, but hopefully you will forgive me. Oh, rider down, it was Ericsson. Ericsson on this TM Factory Racing machine has hit the deck, and he has coughed up his transfer spot to the motos. Oh, this is going to be heartbreak for him. Like I said, he is out of Sweden, so right now it is very early in the morning in Sweden right now. It is probably somewhere in the area of 2:42 a.m. in Sweden. So to go through all this effort to try to make it into the races and then not make it and haven't stayed up so much of the night to try, Ericsson's going to be disappointed in that, so he's going to try to send everything he has after Jake Kazarian ahead of him. Kazarian's going to be sweating bullets up here, though. Really got to think about what's going on behind him. Tomasunis has opened up a nice 5-second lead. Hockey is 11 seconds down. So at the moment, it seems like Tomasunis is about guaranteed as Kazarian goes long on the sky shot, and he almost goes down. So that was a close call for Kazarian. That might be the last time that things get a little dicey, though the rest of the track fairly easy. Maybe Screw You could be a bit of a Screw You out of the transfer position, though. Kazarian looks like he's got it pretty dialed down to the inside. Ericsson's around the outside, though. He's got a great drive. This is going to get pretty close. Who is going to take this final transfer spot? It is anybody's race right now. Oh, Kazarian, a little slip of the front wheel, and then Ericsson blew the corner exit. And you can't forget that Kyler Hockey is still right in front of these guys, so any little mistake, and this is all coming to blows here as Tomasunis is going to come through gravity cavity and take the win out front. Ericsson is going for broke here for the final transfer spot. He's going to send it up. Oh, and he goes down. He landed nose heavy and immediately falls off the bike with a little bit of a one of those things where the front wheel lands sideways and spits you immediately the opposite direction of which the wheel is facing, and Ericsson has just missed his shot at qualifying for the motos. So Kazarian will indeed go through with Kyler Hockey, Michael Mudge, and Nick Tomasunis, who was able to pick up the win. Very unfortunate there for Ericsson, who has given us a great fight down to the finish line, but it just fell short. Daniel Paz, Chandler blocks him. They will also be headed back to the hauler. Unfortunately, only 3 guys that actually wanted to try to race here tonight will not be racing. And there will be 40 other riders. Well, 36 other riders, along with the 4 that just qualified through, that will be going into the motos here in just a moment. But Bloxham crosses 6th after Paz had his fall. And Paz crosses in 7th. Was cuts any factor? It does not appear so. In fact, the biggest amount of cuts went to Bloxham, who had 2.5 seconds of cuts. But obviously he did not make it. Tomasunis 1.6 seconds of cuts, but he still held on to the win out front. Well, we are off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. Good way to start the evening here with some kind of crazy battles going on there in the consolation race, but now we are ready to go racing in the 250 Moto number 1. It looks like they... Oh, never mind. I thought they might be restarting the server just to get everybody reloaded. But it looks like they are going to load us into 250 Moto number 1. As mentioned, close championship fight. Tyler Lang holds the points lead by a narrow margin, 4 points over Payson Johnson, who had held it at every single round up until our last round at Washougal last week, where he just couldn't quite get it going. So Johnson now 4 points down. Eagland 20 points down in the championship, but he has been on a torrid stretch here the last 3 weeks or so. And only 2 points back of him and 22 down in the championship. Braden Carter. This is going to be interesting. This could be a turning point in this championship. This could be Lang extending it, Payson Johnson clawing it back. Maybe Eagland wins yet another race and closes it down to the two ahead of him. And maybe Carter finally gets back on track after he started the season so strong. Started not only this season, but the Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Championship really, really strong. And it just fell apart so fast. Even at Monday's MXS GP of Czechia in Lockett, Carter just was not the same guy that we saw at the beginning of the season, whereas Lang won that first moto. He was able to finish up 4th in the second one and extend his points lead, even though he did not win the Grand Prix. But still, Carter and Johnson losing points in the GP Championship. And that's kind of how it's been since about round 5 of the series here in the Nationals, where Carter and Johnson, who were battling for the lead in the championship, they both started losing a lot of points, and Lang has quietly snuck up to take this points lead away, as mentioned. But you cannot forget about Colby Eagland, who has really put together just a really fantastic couple of rounds the last 5 or so, or the last 3 or so rounds since round 5, I should say, when he won at Redbud. And we're going to find out who's going to take that next step towards a championship tonight. Glad to everybody watching with us. Hopefully you guys are doing fabulous tonight. Up to almost 100 live viewers. Always good to see you guys. Hopefully you're having a great night, as mentioned. Seems like we got a pretty lively chat so far. Good to see. I like when we have an interactive chat. I know that sometimes I don't always get to read chat and answer during the motos. I try to after the motos, but good to see when you guys are conversing with each other. And there's people in here that can answer questions for some of the more newer players of the game that come in here and ask some questions that I don't always get the chance to answer. So I appreciate it. All of you in chat who are kind enough to usually answer some, beginner level questions about skinning or track building or things like that I don't always have the time to get to. But regardless, nice to have just a lot of you guys in chat talking it up about whatever it may be. Obviously, we just kicked off the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship last weekend at Loretta Lynn's. So you guys have that to talk about. You could talk about a myriad of things. Oof, Danger Zone 12 hit me with a tough question. He's asking, I'm assuming he's asking who's better between Valentino Rossi or Giacomo Agostini. That is a hard question to answer. It sucks to say, but I feel like Rossi's career would have looked a lot better had he retired about 5 years ago. I think the fact that he's gone as long as he has, not being really that competitive for race wins and championships, has almost been like a detriment to him. The same way I feel a little bit about Chad Reed's career, where like had he retired in like 2014 or so, it would have been like, damn, Chad Reed won a lot of races in 12 years and a couple titles and all this stuff like that. But then the last 5 or so years just wasn't really that awesome. So I'm much more of like an old school guy, so I'll pick Giacomo Agostini. I think he won a lot of world titles in an era where they were really getting that sport growing, and safety protocols were not quite there either. You know, MotoGP's never been quite the safest sport either, but, you know, back then he raced when there wasn't like protective barriers, or, you know, they have basically suits that are giant airbags now, things like that. All right, well, as mentioned, if you haven't already grabbed yourself a nice beverage, perhaps a bag of candy, maybe even a bag of chips or two, I would humbly invite you to do so, because this is going to be some great racing. 40 riders going 30 minutes plus 2 laps. We are off in 250 moto number 1. It's going to be Dickerson who leads them through the first corner, and Dickerson leads them out of the first corner. He will come through and pick up the Studio 8 whole shot. Going to pick up $5 along the way as well, getting that whole shot award as Dickerson leads the way from Carter out front. We got Rogers up here as well, the rider out of Canada. Sean Klein is mixed in with J.R. Reyes. He's got a good start as well. Trevor Spencer crossing the track in front of Cooper Hunt. Michael Mudge and Tyler Lang looks to round out our top 10 in and out of Gravity Cavity. I'm sorry, Lang up to 9th actually, so it looks like Alex Kerr or maybe Logan Leitzel rounding out our top 10 as they drop back down into Gravity Cavity on the opposite side. Everybody trying to funnel in for position. Don't want to fall in these early stages, so don't run into the back of anybody ahead of you. Got to be very careful with what's going on around you, and there's a big group of people mixed in right there. They're all led through, though, by Dickerson, who has been great on the starts this year. If you played, if PulpMX Fantasy had an MX Simulator League, I would probably pick Isaiah Dickerson as first to the finish line quite often, because this dude rips the starts, and usually he's got the speed to hold on for a little while, too. Unfortunately, it hasn't converted to race wins. But regardless of which, he starts out front quite often. So Dickerson and Carter 1 and 2. Sean Klein drops back down to the 250 class for the first time all year. He's been up in the 450 class most of this time. Former runner-up in this championship 2 years in a row. And Dickerson throws it sideways. I forgot I was going to do the sky shot first lap. Just look at these guys. Just throwing big whips. Oh, nothing out of Lang. Oh, nice whip out of one of the QM1 riders right there. Dooley's in the mid-pack. Oh, guys just getting turned right now. Upside down all around. Look at these guys. Upside down over there, too. Oh, big Oppo whip out of one of the Cowie riders. That might have been a Panini rider. Oh, man. Somebody on a KTM was literally backwards. Everybody's absolutely tossing them out here. We'll pick a better camera angle for that Moto 2 shot. Make sure that we can see some good stuff off the sky shot. But good stuff for everybody throughout the field as Dickerson continues to lead. And shout out to Agris Sixna, who just donated €5 in chat. Thanks, buddy. He does not have a comment with it, but I still appreciate the donation nonetheless. So Dickerson drops us into Gravity Cavity and back out the other side. Still leading here on to lap number 3. Carter giving chase. It's Klein in 3rd. Trevor Spencer comes across in 4th. Tanner Rogers over there in 5th. Ray is now 6th, and Lang has crawled his way up to 7th. So the first time we've seen Lang with the red plates on in the RideThrough65.com Nationals all year. Got a good start, and we still have not seen Payson Johnson. So we'll have to claw our way back through the field and find where that 351 Panini Motorsports rider currently sits. Lang already going to work on J.R. Reyes. Rhino Power number 552, I believe it is. Yes, it is. So they work their way through the little rollers and down this hill. Doesn't seem like any of those guys are tempted to try to triple down the hill just yet. Lang might peek up the inside here. Goes for that far inside rut. Just does not quite get the angle yet. Yes, he does actually. Around the inside and back to the outside. Lang makes the pass, so Reyes slots himself back to 7th. Lang now up to 6th. It's Cross, Leitzel, Adams, Hunt, Mitchell, Nathan Prynn, Brandon Nygren, Luke Sullivan, Dylan Love, Jonathan Alexander, Jaden Wilson, Jake Kazarian, Jacob Hubbard, Benjamin Saves, Colby Eagland has got a bad start as well, Kyler Hockey, Taylor Payne, Garrett Hollenbeck, Ryan Spangler's back here. I haven't seen Spangler in years, former 250 Supercross winner in this game. Michael Mudge, Nathan Guy, Alex Kerr, Ethan Gurst, Julian Bomer, Donovan, and then Payson Johnson. So Johnson, well, maybe it's Eaglin, but one of the Panini Motorsports rider threw a nice oppo whip on the sky shot first lap through, but Johnson is absolutely buried in the pack right now. He's got to get going here pretty quickly, especially with Lang starting out front and pretty much every championship rival around him. Eagland, Carter, Lang all starting well ahead of him. Not the ideal scenario for your long-time championship leader, Payson Johnson, in what is still his official rookie season. And I know we've talked about this before, where he did race 2 nationals back in 2019 before he was banned, I think for key sharing or something along those lines. But he came back this year with a vengeance, won the opening round at WW Ranch, and had led the points from that time since this until this very round. Actually, this is the first time we are not seeing those red backgrounds on that 351, and he is not off to a good start here in Unadilla. So back out front, Dickerson dropping us down the hill. Got a couple second advantage right now on Carter. So it's Carter still in second. Quick lap time check here. We'll go on board with these guys for a minute as well. 2:15.5 to a 2:14.9. So Dickerson is pulling away slightly. A 15.9 out of Klein. 18.2 out of Spencer. 18.7 out of Rogers. And here's Lang on a 16.6, already closing up on Tanner Rogers. The double and then the step up into the back. Lang's going to try to use this far outside line, just carry speed down the hill. He's going to go bar to bar. You can see from Rogers' perspective where Lang is going to land, just ahead of him. So Lang moves up to 5th, and Rogers drops back to 6th. And Lang is now going to try to set sail on Trevor Spencer on the swapmotolive.com, number 192 ahead of him. Good ride so far for old Trevor Spencer. Really helps to start out front in this series. You get into a bit of a groove with the leaders, feel comfortable in this position. Can mean the difference between finishing well down the order and maybe not even scoring points versus finishing up in these top 10 positions. Either way, good learning experience for Spencer, who probably will have himself a double-digit national number next year. Has had a pretty decent outdoor season, but obviously coming in here with the triple-digit. Gonna have to fend off from Tyler Lang before long. Lang looks like the man on the mission. Curious to know whether or not he knows how far back down the field. 3rd in the championship, Colby Eaglin is back in 17th, and then 2nd in the championship, Payson Johnson is on the 351. He is outside of the points still. And looks like scrolling across the top of our screen, he is back in 25th right now. So Johnson, still a lot of work to do. But he has time. Only 8 minutes down to this 30-minute plus 2-lap race, which means do that quick maths, and you've got 22 minutes and 2 laps left to go. The unfortunate part is as the race goes on, the field gets more and more spread out. So it's harder to make those quick passes like you do early in the race, where you can just pass 2 or 3 guys at a time with a good line. Really have to start methodically picking off one by one as we get to this stage of the race. Lang is definitely putting the pressure here on Trevor Spencer. This is for 4th. Can't imagine Lang wants to hang around for much longer because he's trying to eye up the guys ahead of him, like Carter, like Dickerson. Ooh, didn't get that bottom of the hill very well, so he's got to swing a little bit wider, bank off, and lose some time. Tanner Rogers has actually moved up right up behind him there, trying to keep tabs on him. Sean Klein, how about this? Up in second. Not a guy that this year has had much time put into the game. That is for sure. But the veteran out of Wisconsin always seems to rise to the occasion once the gate drops. Even when he was in the title fights that he was back in about 2016 and 17, I think were his 2 years that he went second in the championship in back-to-back years. Klein was never really the guy that would lay down a top 5 qualifying time very often or anything along those lines. He was always much better when it came to the races. He's really steady, really consistent. A lot like 2019 450 Supercross champion and 2018 250 outdoor champion Jack Haley. Haley was very much kind of just the steady rider in the 450 class for years, and then dropped down to the 250 class, won everything, moved up to the 450 class, and immediately won the Supercross title. So I wonder if Klein has ever considered going to race the 450s for a full season and then dropping back down to 250s. Maybe that was a bit of his plan this year. Either way, up in second. And they're all chasing this man right now. Third of the distance through this moto, and Isaiah Dickerson continues to pull away out front, clocking fastest lap of the race after fastest lap of the race. And he has got himself a nice gap established. This could be one of those motos that we see out of Dickerson every time or so that he just basically pulls out a big gap and has no pressure from behind. Oh, Klein down out of second. So that's going to be Carter moving up to second. Klein is going to get going as Rogers gets there. Rogers has moved up to fourth. Nathan Prin, the rider out of France, on the Panini Motorsports number 130, now finds himself in fifth, and he just launched across the start straight there. So Lang has dropped back to sixth. Braden Carter is going to be happy to see that situation unfolding. J.R. Reyes seventh. It's Logan Leitzel putting the pressure on him in eighth. Leitzel trying to square off and go to the inside of Reyes, but had to back out of the rut a little bit early, which means lost some traction. Going to this second from the outside rut, but Reyes around the far outside, keeping the power on. In and out of gravity cavity they go. Rider down. That was on the other side of the track, though. It was one of the QM1 Yamahas. Might have been Luke Sullivan, perhaps. All right, so back to Leitzel putting the pressure on Reyes. Leitzel, a real-life pro, but you haven't seen him racing the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship this year. That is because he elected to go up to Canada this year and has been racing some Canadian Nationals. Oh, but he goes down. Front wheel over the outside rut, and off the bike he goes. That's going to allow, is that cross going by? It is. And Leitzel gets going right in front of this little three-pack here. It's Spencer, and there's Sullivan. So it wasn't Sullivan who was off the track. It must have been one of the other QM1 riders. Oh, and Sullivan tucks the front wheel as well. Spencer and Colby Eaglin has really put on a good charge so far. Not even halfway through the moto yet, and he's already peeking up inside or trying to get inside of the top 10. Oh, Trevor Spencer, a big crash. Wow, I haven't seen anybody crash from OJing the step-up in years here at Unadilla. That was really odd to have that fall off, and he gets up and immediately gets a little tag on the front wheel there, so he slides back out. And he gets up right in front of Cooper Hunt on the 304 machine. So Jaden Wilson, the JDR Suzuki rider on the 720, I believe the rider out of Australia went by. That is Brandon Nygren. Just ahead of them, Payson Johnson also moving forward. Sullivan and Eaglin. So Eaglin and Payson Johnson, the Panini teammates here, really doing a solid job of moving towards the front. already on the back door of Leitzel, like we mentioned, but Leitzel had just crashed. Zoe Cross is now right ahead of them, and J.R. Reyes is backing himself up to this group a little bit. Not sure if Reyes may have just had a fall or not. I actually think Reyes might be on the verge of scoring his first ever points if he's able to hold on for the second half of this moto. He's still inside of the top 10 now, and we are just about at the halfway point of this race. So Reyes is going to be pretty happy about this, but he's got to be probably sweating it a little bit watching the time go down. Hopefully, or hoping in his sense, I should say, that that time goes away quicker. Sometimes when you're having a good moto, oh boy, that clock feels like it is forever. I remember just throwing memory well back in here again when I won the first moto at Butts Creek in the 450 class in 2014. And I got like 20 minutes in the moto without looking at the clock. And the first time I looked at the clock was 20 minutes, and then I at least saw it every minute after that. It was like 21:30, 22:15, 23:40, 24:40. Like I just kept looking at it every time. I'm like, go down faster, because I was leading the moto, so I wanted to win the race, obviously. And that time just feels like it's an eon. Dickerson all alone out front. Lap time check again, 17.3, 18-second lead. Big lead already is second coming out of Screw You right now. And Dickerson quite comfortable in controlling the lead at the moment. But the track is still wearing in as we get into the second half of this moto. In fact, we have just crested the 16-minute mark now, which means we're over halfway into this race. And as such, let's go ahead and do ourselves a little top 20 rundown. This one's brought to you by Tagger Designs, taggerdesigns.com. They do some really, really sick custom helmet paint jobs if you want to get a full decked out helmet. But if you're looking for a cheaper option and still make your helmet look a little bit snazzier than some of the stock designs that come on helmets these days, you can also get a wrap. They have helmet wraps available for you there, as well as apparel and many other things. Taggerdesigns.com, great company, longtime supporter of MX Simulator, and they bring you this top 20 rundown here halfway through 250 Moto number 1 at Unadilla. It is currently led by Isaiah Dickerson on the MV Films number 26 machine. He hole shot the race, has led every single lap since, and looks to be comfortably controlling the race out front as we move into the second half of this race. Braden Carter just moved back into second around Nathan Prynn, who had momentarily moved up to second, but Prynn must have just went down because Braden Carter on the Rival Decal QM1 Yamaha on the number 32 machine, fourth in the championship standings, but the front man for the championship 4 at the moment. So he's gaining the most points out of everybody ahead of him in the title hunt. He'll be happy about that news right now. He's right ahead of Canada's finest, Tanner Rogers, on the Mad Cape number 499. Rogers, former 250 Supercross winner. I think he even won in Toronto back in 2016. He is trying to put together a solid outdoor effort here for the Mad Cape Yamaha team, and right now he's in third, so he might be on the verge of a podium today at Unadilla if things hold. Here's the Frenchman, though, Nathan Prynn on the Panini Motorsports number 130. Like I said, he did move up to second, so he must have just crashed his way back to fourth before we went back and took a look. But he is now holding on to that 4 spot, and he's just ahead of our points leader, Tyler Lang, on the MV Films number 14. Lang has gone as high as fourth in this moto, but as low as seventh, and he's kind of yo-yoed back and forth between those positions with a couple crashes being mixed in. Back to sixth. Excuse me. Sean Klein, ever good, number 10. Holding down P6 up to second at one point. Drops back to sixth, but seems comfortable in this position, looking to hold it as Colby Eaglin has clawed his way all the way up to seventh. The Panini Motorsports number 24, trying to keep his championship hopes alive here with a salvage ride in this first 250 moto. Doing a good job of it so far. Zoe Cross is in eighth on the MXsoccer.com number 49. Smooth sailing for him. Ninth right now for Luke Sullivan on the QM1 number 65. And again, just more solid efforts out of Sullivan late into the season. He has become a very dependable rider for this QM1 Yamaha team, constantly getting good points. And again, finds himself inside of the top 10. And Logan Lights on the Mad Cape number 18 rounds out our top 10 currently. Drop back to this position, but still ahead of Benjamin Saves, right out of France on the Elevated Motorsports number 165 KTM. He's 11th. Payson Johnson back to 12th now on the Panini Motorsports number 351. Again, the furthest back of all title contenders, all the way down here in 12th. So he's got his work cut out for him. Jacob Hubbard, Flastomx.com, number 46. He is running in 13th. And he just got around J.R. Reyes on the 552 Rhino Power Kawasaki. He's back to 14th now. Still trying to hold on for those points in this motor. He's going to go up to 12th, though, because Saves was down and Hubbard had to avoid him, so we got a 3-pack coming down the hill. Oh, and Saves goes down. So Reyes is now 13th. Trevor Spencer on the SwapMotoLive.com, number 192, moves up to 14th. Brandon Nygren on the Privateer Effort Honda out here on the 510 is now in P15. 16th for Cooper Hunt, another Privateer out here on the Husqvarna on the number 304 machine. 17th right now, Benjamin Saves. He's dropped back. 18th for Jonathan Alexander on the number 148 machine. 19th for Jaden Wilson on the JDR Suzuki 720. And the final points paying position right now is Garrett, I ain't no Hollenbeck girl, on the Tiger Designs number 54. So that is a top 20 rundown, conveniently brought to you by Tiger Designs, as we rounded out our top 20 rundown with a Tiger Designs rider. 20 minutes have gone. 10 minutes and 2 laps remain. Isaiah Dickerson continues to lead the race. Out front, Carter well back in second. Rogers in third, so Carter's a very lonely second right now. 12 seconds behind him, 19 seconds ahead of him. Real battle brewing here, though, between Klein and Tyler Lang. Lang trying to close up and pass the number 10. But it seems like Klein might be the one going forward, because he just came from 6th to get up to 4th. So as it stands with Carter finishing second, he gets 22 points. Lang in 5th would get 16 points. That'd be a 6-point gain for Carter on Lang. And Carter, the furthest back in the championship, would close it from 22 to 16 points behind Lang. But Lang obviously extending his lead over Payson Johnson and Colby Eaglin, who are currently 2nd and 3rd in the championship respectively. Kind of tally up the points after this first moto and see where everything is settled down, because there's still some more passing to be done. I think Lang wants to get around Klein. Oh, and he's going to do it, because Klein just swapped out and went down. Lang goes by. Is that Eaglin going by? Wow, Eaglin has caught Lang. Eaglin has just moved up to 5th, and he's now right behind Lang in 4th. This is impressive stuff for the Panini Motorsports rider. He has come from way back. And there's, that's Prin, then Cross, then Klein, Sullivan, and then Johnson. So Johnson is in 10th now. Made a couple more passes up. But this Eaglin-Lang battle is going to be a peculiar one, because, like I said, Eaglin currently sits 20 points down in the championship, but he's been one of the strongest riders in the last 3 or so rounds, and he continues to prove it today with a ridiculous charge through the field, and he's still got 7 minutes on the clock to work with, plus 2 laps. So if he wants to get around Lang, he's got it right in front of him. Still has the chance to get Tanner Rogers up ahead in 3rd. Dare I say he could even get up to Braden Carter in 2nd. Who knows? The sky's the limit for this guy, because he is on rails. Let's go on board with him and just kind of sit back and watch it all happen ahead of us. That is Lang and Rogers, 4th and 3rd respectively, right ahead of him, that he's trying to catch up to. Oh, I thought Eaglin was stuck in the front wheel there. Ended up salvaging it underneath him. And we drop down into Gravity Cavity over the finish line. Jump 17 for Colby Eaglin, still matching similar lap times to that of his best lap. Still Lang and Rogers right ahead of him. Gap staying fairly stagnant, but I'm curious to see whether or not there's a spot on the track Eagland is faster. I mean, right there, he just clawed back about a half a second in its own. And then Lang seems to pull away in and out of that back section. And they go through these rollers. Still 1.8 seconds and then back to 1.5 seconds. It just yo-yos back and forth, really. And these guys are pretty much running identical paces, it seems, because Lang doesn't seem like he's really closing up on Rogers, maybe a little bit. Rogers is that kind of teal gear you can see going up the hill, and then Lang is in the black gear right behind him. And Eagland's trying to close up on both of them. And this would be an unprecedented charge up to third in a moto from Eagland, who just did not have a good start. We'll go on board with Lang for a minute because it really seems like Rogers is under attack here. Lang a little hops through the braking bumps there, but actually seemed to gain time by going to the outside. Again to the outside here. And you can still kind of hear Eagland every now and then right behind Lang, so he's in a full-blown sandwich here. He's trying to do everything he can to pass Rogers. And boy, this has turned into quite the championship, I'll tell you. These four guys out front in the championship fight are absolutely going for it, leaving nothing to chance. Lang, a little bit of time lost there, and now Eagland is closing up again. It's literally a game of inches. Rogers holding steady, Lang trying to apply the pressure. Eagland on the Panini Kawasaki trying to close up from the back. And I think Prin is still right behind Eagland. You might see a flash of green in the background from time to time, behind Eagland even. We come through the valley here, you'll see as we take off the step up. Yeah, there's a little flash of green coming down the hill. He's about 3 seconds back of Eagland, it seems. Still Nathan Prin back there. Lang once again closing right up on Rogers. Something's got to break here. One of these guys is going to make a mistake. Lang likes this inside at the bottom of Screw You, and it might work this time alongside Rogers. It's a drag race. Rogers gets a better drive from the outside and lands in the preferred line. Contact! Lang goes down. Oh no, Lang is off the bike, so Eagland goes by. Is Prin going to go through? Yes, Nathan Prin also goes by. Sullivan will not go by. Cross will not make it either. Payson Johnson's up to 9th, but Tyler Lang has been passed by a couple people that are gaining points on him in the championship. Specifically, Eagland now up ahead of him, and Eagland still trying to run down Tanner Rogers. And time is winding down very quickly here. 28:30 or so on the clock. So only a minute and a half left. A little bit of a mistake at the bottom of the hill there for Eagland. Remember, ahead of these guys, it's still Carter in second, and Dickerson pulling away with the lead out front. 1 minute remains on the clock. I think that is not going to be enough time for Dickerson before time expires and he comes back to the flag, but we'll stick with him here for a minute and see how close it might be. I don't don't know. What are these guys' lap times again? 2:20. Yeah, I think they're out of time. They're gonna run out of time. Well, at least Dickerson is gonna run out of time before he hits the flag. Man, it'll be close though. 30 seconds to go now. It might not actually be as close as I thought. I think he needs to be about at the starting line with 20 seconds to go, but he's going to be about 10 seconds shy of that. So 20 seconds left on the clock. This will probably be time expiring before we get to the flag next time by then. And indeed it absolutely will be, because 5 seconds now. And time has expired. So there we go, with 2 corners still left before the finish line. Time has expired, and Dickerson is going to get the 2-lap board this time by, which I'm sure he'll be fairly excited about. Oh, what happened to Eagland? Eagland has gone down. Eagland is behind all these guys. He must have went after Tanner Rogers for a pass, and it really cost him because Tyler Lang back ahead of him. Nathan Print also got around. So Eagland has to go back to the drawing board. Lang trying to close back up on Prin. Still Sullivan back here, and now Johnson looks like he's up to 8th. Trying to do what he can to salvage. This is going to be really interesting how much the points are about to shake up in this one moto. As mentioned, this could be kind of a turning point in the championship. Johnson, who is 2nd in the standings, is having the worst moto as Rogers goes down. Eagland's going to get a free spot, as is Lang. Eagland wants desperately to pass Tyler Lang, though. Already 20 points down, does not want to lose more points. Got to start clawing those points back from Lang at all costs. So white flag about to come out front here in about 20 to 30 seconds for Dickerson. Eagland's still just eyeing up Lang ahead of him. Lang, in his own right, trying to go after Prin. Prin's off the track. Prin blew the bottom of Screw You. And Lang gains another spot, as does Eagland. And now it is only Dickerson ahead of the front 3 in the championship. Well, obviously Johnson's still back, but Dickerson takes the white flag out front. Carter 2nd, Lang 3rd, and Eagland is 4th. Prin is trying to close back up on Eagland again. Oh, this is going to be Prin's pass on Eagland right here. And I just don't think there's any team orders in play with this. If I'm honest, I think there should be a little bit. But there's clearly not. Prin just made the pass back on Eagland. Prin is not in this championship fight. His teammate Eagland and his other teammate Payson Johnson is. And if you're trying to win this championship for your team, normally you're a little bit more lenient to them. But Prin just goes right around him. Maybe Prin is trying to catch Lang outright here. Looks like Carter's actually closed up a fair bit on Dickerson. And I thought Prin might be closing up on Lang, but it's really not turning out to be the case. I wonder if this was maybe he's just trying to go after Lang, and if he can't get it, he's going to give Eagland the spot back. Not sure. That's going to be Kind of interesting to see how this finishes up, though. So Lang has done a really good job at keeping the points at a minimum to his championship rivals. Carter down on Screw You. He's got to get it straightened out just very slowly up the exit of Screw You. And these guys are coming. Print is trying so hard to get to Dickerson out front. Or, I'm sorry, not Dickerson. Lang ahead of him. Dickerson is out front in this race, though. Speaking of which, we got a couple corners left to go. In fact, we have one corner left to go. Talk about starting off the night right. Isaiah Dickerson, hole shots, leads every lap. A gate to checkers win. Dickerson, Moto 1 winner at Unadilla. Carter looks like he's going to get second. Prin is throwing everything he can. Oh, and he's going to slide out. That's going to be Eaglin getting the spot back. So Prin was definitely trying to go for it, and it's not going to work out in the end. Eaglin back through. Carter does cross the line second. Lang, unless a disaster in this last corner, will cross the line third. Eaglin ends up in fourth, and Prin settles for fifth. Very close in the end between those three in the battle for third. Rogers sixth, Sullivan seventh. Logan Leitzel has moved up into eighth, and Payson Johnson has dropped back to ninth. So Johnson losing valuable championship points right there. Zoa Cross rounds out our top 10. Jacob Hubbard in a fight with Sean Klein for 11th and almost went down. Klein's going to try to go to the outside and get a drive down into gravity cavity. Hubbard scrubs super hard to get into the gully. Out the other side. 6/10 in the end was what it took to hold off Sean Klein. Trevor Spencer goes down. He was in 13th. Cooper Hunt might take advantage, as will Brandon Nygren if they get there. Yeah, they're both going to get there. Spencer's still on the ground trying to get it righted. Jaden Wilson also goes by. So Wilson going to take advantage to go up to 15th. Spencer drops from 13th to 16th with 2 corners to go before the flag. Oh, it might even be worse now. Hockey goes by. Saves goes by. J.R. Reyes goes by. They all get through. And Spencer goes from 13th to 19th. And he's just going to land on his head, because that's all you can do there. That was disaster. Cole Hans scores the final point. Looks like he's really excited about that one. Even has woo in his name. Ethan Gerst ends up 21st. Garrett Hollenbeck is going to be 22nd in this one. Chase Donovan will bring it home in 23rd. Alex Kerr did not finish this race in 24th. Neither did Jonathan Alexander in 25th. Nathan Guy, first man a lap down in 26th. Payne, Copeland, Mudge, Irvine, Mitchell, Love, Braun, Adams, Vanderbeek, Spangler, Bomer, Kazarian, Burns, Thomas Sunis, the rest of the runners there. But let's take a look at the top 20 to see if anything changed on cuts. It does. Saves gets J.R. Reyes for 17th on cuts. And that's it. Everything else stays the same. So Dickerson wins, Carter second, Lang third. Working out the points. I think you're right, Igny. So I'll just trust your judgment here. He has. No, actually, I don't. Oh, no, you are right, huh? Oh, that's right. Okay, so Lang on 284 now. Johnson now 12 points back on 272. Carter on 264 and Eaglin on 262. Yeah, so Carter just got 22 points. He was 22 points down. Lang got 20 points, so he gained 2 points in the championship, so Carter's now 20 points down. Eaglin was 20 points down, and he just lost 2 points, so he's 22 points down, so that makes sense, yeah. And then Johnson just finished ninth, so that's 12 points to Lang's 20, so he just lost 8 points. He was 4 points down. He's 12 points down now, yeah, so there you go. Absolutely right. Spot on, Mr. Heagney. All right. As per usual, there is a bit of a break in the action right now. And as such, if there's any questions that you guys have in chat, now would be the time to ask them. Let's stay looking here. Good view of the track. But yeah, now is a little bit of a break in the action, so this is when I usually look over at the chat. If there is a question that you guys have in chat that you would like to know the answer to, I can't swear that I will know it, but I will try to answer it. Who is the GOAT of IndyCar? Jeez, man, I don't know, because you have to think about all the guys like Foyt, Scott Goodyear, so many guys back in the day too, but then you have like the modern era dominance of guys like Scott Dixon, Will Power, Castro Neves. I mean, you could even put probably Montoya in there. Bourdais was really good in Champ Car, but I know that wasn't IndyCar. I don't know, man. That is a tough question. Rallycross or F1? I like F1 personally. I've always been a big F1 guy. I'm a really big history buff when it comes to F1, like more so than motocross for some reason. Like I think I can name every F1 world champion. I don't know if I could do it in order, but I'm pretty sure I can name every Formula 1 world champion ever, which is ridiculous because I don't even think I can name every like 450 motocross champion ever. How long is the break? About 5 minutes. Not going to be too long. How about JS4 scoring points this weekend? Yeah, I actually, I just interviewed Jeremy Smith today for Privateer Profile on RacerXOnline.com, which should be up tomorrow. So if you want to see an interview done by yours truly to Jeremy Smith, asked him many questions about how it felt to score some good points to start the year, how things are with his SGB Maxxis Babbitt's Kawasaki team, and how training went, things like that. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in an MX Sim Pro race? Weirdest thing, huh? I mean, there used to be a time back in like 2013, 2014 where if people got mad, they would literally just beeline across the track and punt whoever it was that they didn't like. Like literally beeline across the track. Like from here to the sky shot, they'd go from this section of the track to the sky shot to punt who they didn't like. That kind of stuff was always dumb to me. Some of the weirder things that I've seen, though, are people who race an entire moto, like 30 minutes, and then they're like, I don't want to score points because I don't feel like I deserve the points or something. So they'll be like 7th in the race, and then they'll pull off right before the finish line, jump, and let everybody go by and score points. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I've seen it happen before. What made me start SYS? I started SYS because, quite honestly, I wanted to create a YouTube channel that was more focused on, like, simulated motocross games because there wasn't really a niche audience for that. Like all the motocross YouTubers back in the day were just console games, and obviously I dip my toes in console games quite often now, but myself and Jeremy Hinters, we were both really good at sim when we started it. So we did sim broadcasts, we did sim online gameplays, sim this, sim that, sim track walk, stuff like that. Then we started doing things like online plays in like Reflex and MXRC TV Supercross Encore and some older games. Jeremy started doing Flashback Fridays and stuff like that. And it slowly turned into, for me, when Jeremy left, it for me was a good way to stay connected to the industry. Because when Jeremy left, like 4 months after Verb went out of business, so I lost my job, and then Jeremy left about 4 months apart. So I had to get a job outside of the industry from 2017 until 2020, and during that time, running SYS and building it up to what it is now was kind of my way of staying connected with a lot of the motocross industry. I I still super enjoy making content and making videos for you guys, so that's a huge part of it as well. But it also did help me get my foot back in the door to get the job that I have now at Racer X. So in a way, it was kind of having that platform for me to be like, hey, I'm still doing stuff in the industry, and I have, you know, like this kind of skill set that some people don't, I guess, have. So it's a mix of things, really. What do I think about Alonso returning to Renault for F1 2021? I like it. I just like that we're going to have more world champions on the grid. I think Fernando Alonso's a great driver, so I'm glad to have him back personally. Alex Efforts wants to know, do you know just as much as baseball as you do F1, MX, and SX? So the real thing is I do know more about motocross and supercross than anything else. Like, recent memory supercross and motocross stuff, like the last 30 years, I just have like kind of a photographic memory about a lot of stuff that it's stupid, useless information that I shouldn't keep in my brain, but I do. I would say I know more about baseball than F1 because I grew up playing baseball, so I watched baseball a lot. Like, I was super into baseball. I played baseball as a kid up until I was 14 or so, and still obviously watch the sport pretty religiously, so I'd say I know more about baseball, but that's just me. Who do I think is winning Loretta Lynn's this weekend? I think Ferrandis and Tomac are going to win, but that's just my opinion. What is your take on Jeremy Martin's career so far, and do you think he can be a champ in the future? Jeremy Martin has had a great career, and unfortunately the back injury has kind of like derailed what I think was a pretty good career to that point. I think he can definitely still win championships, but I think that he's got to, I don't know, find another step. He was on a different level in 2014 and 15 when he won his championships. He's not there anymore. He's not at that level anymore. He's got to find that again, in my opinion. Schumacher or Hamilton? I picked Michael Schumacher. He raced in an era where cars were a lot different than they are now. And I'm not saying they're not a handful to control now, but I think that there's, you know, a team like Mercedes has an easier time of making a car that consistently is the fastest on the grid. Ferrari had a tough time making a car that was 5 years straight of winning world championships, I think. How many NASCAR drivers did you meet while attending Supercross races? None so far? Maybe one? There's not many NASCAR drivers that go to Supercross races. Not as many as you think. Yeah, we'll get some first-person camera, don't worry. I don't think KTM picks up Bloss to fill in for Webb. The reason why is because KTM really only needs one bike on the track, and they have Marvin. I mean, you saw when Marvin went out for Supercross, they didn't fill the spot. They had every opportunity to fill the spot. They had a full second bike and a second mechanic sitting there at all times they could have used, and they didn't. So I don't think KTM fills the spot, unfortunately. Shout out Eric Thompson, $2 donation in chat. How, in your opinion, did Loretta Lynn turn out for pro races? I think it turned out much better than I expected. I thought it'd be way too tight, way too narrow, too small, etc. And I thought it was actually a pretty good racetrack, but we'll see this weekend if it's the same story. But anyway, thanks for the donation. Thank you for all of the questions in chat. And let's go ahead and turn that 30 board sideways, get those revs up, and drop the gate. It is 250, moto number 2, right here at Unadilla. Good start out of the inside. Jacob Hubbard, FlastMX.com to the corner first. Does he control it? Klein trying to beat him. No, Jacob Hubbard, Studio 8, whole shot on the 46. Immediately blows the second corner, though. And Dickerson tries to go to the front, but it's actually around the outside. Benjamin saves on the Elevated Motorsports KTM, who takes the lead, and he will be the first to the finish line. You had him on your Pulp Fantasy team. He's got some good points right there. Dickerson, Klein, Gerst, Lang, Eagland all up front. So Eagland, good start. I see Braden Carter's in there around the outside on the 32 as Hubbard peaks inside on the 46 as well. So our championship contenders in this little nestled group right now between Lang, Eagland, and Carter. Is that Payson Johnson even right behind them on the Panini Motorsports rider? Or it might be Prin. No, it is Johnson because he's up in 10th. So all of our championship contenders inside of the top 10 early. Let's see if they stay there as Eagland gets to the inside of Lang and makes that pass as he's trying to get Hubbard as well. All the while, they're chasing the Frenchman, Benjamin Saves, out front. And I didn't realize he was a Frenchman until recently, so I really wonder if his last name is like Save or Savez, something like that. Don't know if it's directly just Benjamin Saves, but I haven't actually reached out to ask him. I will at some point. All right, Sky Shot, first lap. I'm gonna wait until he lands and then get to the bottom camera. And then, oh baby, let's just, oh, it's glorious. Oh, the whippage, the straight airs out of J.R. Reyes. Oh, look at all these whips. It's just, oh, beautiful. Oh, big oppo whip there for one of the MX Locker riders. And is that everybody? Nope, we got a big one off the back. Luke Sullivan and Hollenbeck and Gerst. And I think that's it. All right. So Saves out front still. Klein giving chase. Got around Dickerson already, it seems. Hubbard, and then Eagland is the first of the championship contenders. Lang right behind him. Johnson now got around Carter. And literally, our championship 4 are in a freight train right here. Carter off the back of him. Rider down was Klein. So the championship 4 split him. Eagland up inside of Lang still holds the position. Lang was trying to make the pass up the road just a little ways. And Carter is eyeing up something on Johnson. Johnson, meanwhile, trying to go after Lang. We're watching it all from Braden Carter's perspective as they're all right ahead of him. So 4, 5, 6, 7 on the track right now are your championship 4. In fact, Eagland wasting no time to go after Hubbard ahead of him. He is going to go up to 3rd. Around the 46, BlastMX.com Yamaha goes Eagland. Overalls are going to be all kinds of confusing in this moto, I'd have to assume. Up to the Sky Shot we go. Oh, big upside down whip there. Dickerson just brought it back around to land on the knuckle, and Eagland is already closing up on him. So Eagland trying to close up on the 24. See if he can get there. Looks like Eagland might actually be losing some time a little bit there to Hubbard. And still out front, Benjamin Saves holding onto the lead, but it's a narrow one indeed. It is Saves as they come through the corner, then Dickerson, Eagland, Hubbard, Johnson, Lang, Carter. And they are just in a freight train right there. All led by Benjamin Saves. Dickerson closing up on Saves, trying to make something happen. And Eagland lurking back there as well. It could be anybody's moto win. So much time still left on the clock. A lot of racing can be done. Saves, checks up on the table down. Seems like Dickerson and Eagland got it a little bit cleaner. Eagland got it fantastic, actually. Oh, Saves down with the lead. So Hubbard goes by. There goes Johnson. There goes Lang. There goes Carter. Literally everybody in that train has gone by. And Carter is trying to put the pressure on Lang. Remember, after that first moto, Johnson was 12 back of Lang. Carter moved to 20 back. And Eagland was 22 back. So they might actually be completely opposite of what they need at some point during this moto if things kind of dice out the way they need to. Eagland all over Dickerson for the race lead, though, as they head up out of the center of the track. Trying to put the heat on him. Dickerson looking to go 1-1 today and really play the spoiler in this championship fight. But Eagland, who had an up and down first moto, ended up 4th in that one, though. A good job to claw his way up. Wants to say something about it. Has a peek down the inside, but ends up backing out of it. Still Hubbard in 3rd. And Lang, Carter, now Saves is ahead of Johnson, so Payson Johnson must have had a mistake somewhere. Now falls behind Payson Johnson. Johnson's going to look inside here and will make that pass back. Easily done in the end. So other than Dickerson and Hubbard, all of our championship contenders are right where we want to see them. Lang, Eagland, Dickerson. Actually, Carter's dropped back to 9th as well, so Braden Carter has dropped out of this group. More points flip-flopping potentially on the docket here after Carter was the one who gained the most points in the first moto. He's now gaining the least here in the second. And Eagland is trying to sneak up. Maybe even take a moto win away here if he can. Dickerson doing a good job at keeping Eagland in bay, but Eagland is just matching him corner for corner, jump for jump. And both throwing huge on the sky shot. Is the sky shot not the funnest jump in pro motocross or even in sim? It's just so fun. Just a big floater table, low consequences it seems for coming up short. Just fun. I like fun jumps. Lang moved up to 3rd. He got around Carter. I'm sorry, not around Carter. Hubbard. Getting my people mixed up. So Lang, then Johnson, Hubbard and Saves, Klein, and then Carter. And Carter is down at the top of the hill. He's not on screen because he's down just out of camera as he's... Oh, he just got hit again by Leitzel. And it's coming apart here for Carter quickly. Oh, and things were looking so up in the first moto for Braden Carter. And it is becoming a nightmare so quickly for the number 32 machine, just when he thought he might be clawing his way back into the championship fight. So it's still MV Films Panini, as Dickerson leads Eagland. Then Lang is ahead of Johnson. I think Johnson's going to close up on Tyler Lang here pretty quickly. Johnson, I would assume, not too thrilled after losing the points lead last week. And then starts off tonight with a tough first moto, finishing 9th. Drops to 12 points down the championship. Johnson, nice outside to inside cut. Not able to get alongside Lang just yet, but he's definitely inching up. Trying to put that pressure on the number 14 machine ahead of him. Inside move for Johnson. Doesn't quite work there. So they're going to go toe-to-toe on the sky shot. Johnson stayed way lower but landed on the knuckles, so he didn't get the power down like he wanted to. Oh, and then Dickerson made a mistake, and Lang and Johnson go by. And then Johnson's trying to pull up alongside down the inside, which means Eagland is leading the race. Eagland to the front. Lang to second, Johnson to third, Johnson to the far inside at the bottom of the hill, tries to outdrive him, and he slides out. He's going to lose a spot back to Dickerson. Oh, he may have pushed the envelope there too soon. But as mentioned, Eagland is leading. So Eagland, who just lost 2 points to Lang in the first moto, trying to gain him right back, and then some. He'd gain 3 back right here if he was able to hold on. I don't think Lang is done with dealing with what's going on behind him, though. Dickerson hot on his heels. Johnson trying to get the power back down to go after these guys, and he's got this inside move in his back pocket, trying to get alongside Dickerson, just not able to get there, but then scrubs nicely, power down to the outside. And then mistake, Dickerson. Johnson launches into gravity cavity, makes the pass up to third. So he's in a full-blown MV film sandwich right now. Trying to close up on Lang ahead of him. They all tuck to this second from the inside rut. And again, second from the inside through the tree. Oh, Johnson, nice whip. A lot of speed around the outside. Does this turn into a passing opportunity if he gets the power down here? Just about on the back tire there of Lang. Now cuts inside. We haven't seen many people try that line, but he almost made it work there. So Johnson trying to come up with something here to make the pass on Lang, get those points back. If he does it, it'd be 2 more points gained. He'd be only 10 down. But he's actually helping Eagland a ton. If he makes this pass happen again, side by side on the sky shot, I think he might have the move done. He does to the inside. Johnson up in a second. Around Lang. So Lang drops back to third. Johnson has made 2 quick passes on the MV Films duo of Dickerson and then Lang. So Eagland leads, Johnson second, Lang third, and now Dickerson back into fourth. Hubbard is fifth, Klein is sixth, Saves is seventh, and Carter is still in eighth, but he's trying to claw his way forward. To the inside of Benjamin Saves, coming down to Screw You. That will be another pass. He's up to seventh. Turning quickly into a salvage moto here for Carter. Klein and Hubbard pretty far up ahead of him, and then unlikely he gets to this group, but Isaiah Dickerson is not doing his teammate any favors here. He is putting the pressure on the 14, although maybe in this sense he's actually trying to push him up to Johnson, trying to show him the pace he needs to run, because I think Dickerson might be able to run that pace. As it stands right now, though, because Dickerson is back to fourth, Eagland wins the overall with a 4-1. Oh, Lang down! Lang down, and he stood up in the corner, though, not off the bike, so huge swing and fortunes there, because he could have fallen off and lost a spot to Hubbard or even more. Hubbard trying to put that pressure on Lang, force him into a mistake. And we are already at the halfway point of this race. Time is absolutely flying in this one because our championship contenders are really making this one interesting. Hubbard just not willing to let Lang go here. Trying to match his pace and maybe even close up for an opportunity to make a pass. And Dickerson, as soon as he got around his teammate Lang there, set sail quickly after Payson Johnson. And I'm curious to see, lap time-wise, if these guys are able to start clawing some time away out of your race leader, Colby Eagland even. 13.4, best lap for Dickerson. 13.1, best lap for Johnson. 1 second separates them. Still just a second as Dickerson launching out onto the start straight, trying to get that power down. Really curious to look at the lap times this time by, so we'll stay on board down to the finish line jump. Swinging way outside, then dropping down into gravity cavity. Dickerson runs a 17.4 to a 17.6 out of Johnson. Eagland resets his best lap of the race out front. It's not the fastest overall lap. He just did a 13.6. He's got a 9-second lead working, and this is starting to flow Eagland's way quickly. Dickerson, though, having moved up to third, is in a position to win the overall today if it were to stay as is. Hubbard up to fourth. Lang has dropped back to fifth. Klein is sixth, and Carter is seventh. And at the pace Lang is dropping backwards a little bit, not out of the question Carter could still get to him, which is crazy that at this point then Lang might be the one losing the most points on the day to his nearest championship rivals. So Dickerson looked like he had closed up on Johnson a little bit, but then the gap extended. So while we're here, 17 minutes and some change done into this moto, so we're over halfway, and it's time to do a top 20 rundown. This one's brought to you by Ride365.com, title sponsor of this series, great supporter of RaceFactorGaming.com and the MX Simulator Outdoor National Championship. Ride365.com is your one-stop shop for all things apparel, gear, clothing, hard parts, components, whatever you need. Ride365.com has it. Head over there today, find yourself some cool moto stuff, and support the sponsors who support our game. Ride365.com brings you this top 20 rundown, which is currently led by Colby Eagland on the Panini Motorsports number 24, trying to win the moto and gain some valuable championship points. Payson Johnson up in second, his teammate on the 351. Not a good first moto in ninth. Good second moto so far in second, and still has a chance to maybe go out and try to win this thing down the stretch. Isaiah Dickerson back in third, on the verge of winning the overall today if things were to stay as they are, but the MV Films number 26 rider just playing steady games back here behind Johnson and waiting for his opportunity to pounce. Jacob Hubbard playing spoiler a bit here on the VlastMX.com number 46. He's up into fourth, and first moto for him, 11th. So this is a good turnaround ride here with a good start. P5 for our points leader, Tyler Lang on the MV Films number 14. Had a couple crashes that have moved him back to this position, but he's tried to steady it out here. And Braden Carter is now up to 6th on the Rival Decal QM1 Yamaha number 32 machine. Carter trying to match the second place in his first moto and get some valuable points, as mentioned, against Tyler Lang in the championship. Sean Klein 7th on the ever good number 10. Solid day for him so far. 8th for Logan Lights on the Mad Cave number 18 machine. He's up front in the first moto, then fell back. Then he ended up finishing down in 8th, it looks like. So he is currently 8th right now. Might go 8-8 for 8th or 9th or whatever overall it's going to be. 9th right now is Benjamin Saves, officially credited with the whole shot, and then led for a little bit before he crashed the lead away, and then he just crashed again, so he is going to lose 9th. That goes to Zoa Cross on the MXLocker.com number 49. He is up to 9th now. 10th is Jaden Wilson on the JDR number 720. 11th for Nathan Print on the Panini Motorsports number 130. 12th is Tanner Rogers on the Mad Cape number 499. 13th for Cooper Hunt, privateer effort on the 304. And Saves drops all the way back to 14th in that crash. 15th for Luke Sullivan on the number 65 QM1 machine. 17th for Daniel Irvine, right? 17th? No, 16th, I'm sorry. 16th for Daniel Irvine on the Takatoji Racing number 872. 17th for Colt Hans on the number 821. Alex Kerr on the Takatoji number 352 is in 18th. 19th for Kyler Hockey on the MXS Magazine number 79. And is it really true that Garrett Hollenbeck, both times through the order, is P20 in our top 20 rundown? The Tiger Designs number 54 wraps it up again for us in this moto as we cruise up to the 21-minute mark of this one. 9 minutes left to go, plus 2 laps. That is a top 20 rundown brought to you by the fine folks at Ride Route365.com. Well, Eaglin leads still from Johnson and Hubbard now ahead of Dickerson, who must have just crashed, Lang, and Carter. So our top 4 in the championship have spread out pretty far in this race, but they are still residing inside of the top 6 in the race as it is. And Carter just laid down his best lap at a 2:16 dead, while up ahead, Lang did a 17:1. There's an 8-second gap, and a second was just gained that last lap alone. There's not going to be 8 more laps of the race, though, unfortunately for Carter. So he's going to need to claw either more points away or hope Lang has a fall at some point. Carter just doing everything he can to close this gap down. He really shot himself in the foot by crashing back to about 9th spot earlier. So doing everything he can to make amends for it now. And the biggest present for him would be if he could get to Lang and pass him. And that gap is coming down. I think Lang is dealing with a little bit of lap traffic, perhaps even. So Carter's watching that gap come down on the pit board ever so slightly. Now, I'm curious to think if that's the motivation he needs, though. Just a few glances there, here and there, looking at the pit board, seeing the gap coming down, knowing he's gaining time against Lang. If he can just get up there and pass him, that's going to be huge. They're down at the bottom of the hill on a Suzuki, didn't quite see. Must have been a lapped rider, though. Kind of stayed stagnant, though, since Lang was able to get through that lap traffic. What's going on up here? Looks like Hubbard is being caught by Dickerson, and they've got a lapper in between them. J.R. Reyes perhaps on the 5.52. Rhino Power Kawasaki. It is indeed J.R. Reyes that has just been lapped. Unfortunate for Reyes, who was able to finish up 18th in that first moto. So how is this whole thing going to shake down? Where are these passes going to be made late? Eaglin seems like he's metering his gap over his teammate out front. Oh, Hubbard just went down out of 3rd. That's going to be Dickerson going by. And is Hubbard going to get going? No, Lang goes by as well. Hubbard finally gets it righted, but just lost a huge chunk of time and points. And Lang will say, "Thank you very much for that, good sir." So if Carter's able to get up to Hubbard, which seems very possible at the moment with the pace that Carter's been putting down, then literally our top 4 would be in the top 5 of this race. And the only spoiler that's mixing it up would be Isaiah Dickerson, who's been a bit of an anomaly this year. Some frustrating motos earlier in the year in Southwick and Redbud. Finally comes back to racing on a more full-time level. Putting in a great ride here today. May very well win the overall Unadilla, but still no shot at the title left for him. So at this point, like mentioned, he is playing a spoiler for some, maybe a helper for others. Depends on how much help he wants to garner to his teammate Tyler Lang. Oh, big mistake there for Carter. Lang was just off the track. So Carter, I don't know if he knows that he's gaining as much time as he is on Lang, but he can see him right there going the other direction. Hubbard does not want to give up the position he's in either, so he's fighting for his life for this top 5. Carter looking for every different line that he can think of to try to make up time, or think of an option for a passing opportunity as well for Hubbard. That's another thing that you can do as well. when you're gaining time on someone ahead of you, or at least you're keeping them at bay, is you can search around a little bit for some lines that might just be a good opportunity for you to either take a line away from whoever it is ahead of you once you finally catch them, or it might just be straight up faster. You might go somewhere else thinking, I'll just look at it as a line that I can use at some point. Then you hit it and realize, dang, this line actually is a lot better than this other garbage one I was taking through the corner for most of the time. It's kind of leveled out here for Carter. 2-second gap, not really gaining much on Hubbard anymore. He's got to kind of figure it out quickly here because Lang is getting away. And we're coming up on 27 minutes into the moto, so it's really crunch time at this point. I'll tell you what, though. Crunch time indeed. Payson Johnson is catching his teammate Colby Eaglin out front. And with Lang currently running down in the 4 spot, Johnson coming through to win this thing would actually be a pretty big deal. That'd be 7 points gained back in the championship. Given that Lang stays in 4th, it's not a guarantee he will stay there. But 7 more points after he just lost a big chunk in the first moto. He'd only be 5 back. Entered the night 4 back. And then Lang was able to pick up 3rd to Johnson's 9th in the first moto. Johnson trying to come through and win the second moto. Get 7 more points back in the championship, only be 5 down entering the final 3 of the championship. This 250 class is really providing quite the outdoor title for us. There hasn't been a clear favorite since about round 5 of the series that you can pinpoint as a guy that's going to go out and win every moto, or at least contend for the win every moto. And because of that, we have got a brand new championship coming down the stretch here. Payson Johnson has caught his teammate Colby Eaglin out front with 2 minutes on the clock. So Eagland now has to respond to this pressure and start pouring down the fast laps, but Johnson is absolutely ripping right now, and he hits the back tire of his teammate and goes down. He does not lose too much time, though, fortunately, because he did not fall off the bike, so he gets going, and in the end, it looks like it was about a 2.5 to 3 second loss. Yeah, exactly 2.2 seconds, to be honest, as Johnson now finally comes through. And Carter's moved up to 5th. Oh, Johnson, a big mistake. Almost gets clipped by Roy Mitchell coming by. Uh-oh, Johnson is falling apart a bit here late. And is this going to be enough time to get back to the flag? I think it is. I don't know if that's going to be more laps. Let's see, actually. They ran 16 laps in Moto 1. Yeah, this is going to be more laps this Moto if it stays... Well, if they get back to the flag at least. Gonna be close again. 40 seconds. Yeah, they're gonna get back. They have to. It'll be pretty nip and tuck though. Oh, that's not gonna help. Eaglin has to avoid a downed rider. 30 seconds to the mark. Oh my gosh, this is actually gonna be really close. 20 seconds to the mark. Is Eaglin gonna clip the timing sheet before they go? Oh, he goes off the track. That might have cost him. So remember, it's when the cameras switch over at the finish line. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. I think they crossed one more time before the 2-lap board came out. Time has just expired. That was so close if it was. We'll have to see if white flag comes out next time by. We don't have an indication of when the 2-lap board comes out, but we do know when the white flag comes out whether or not it did actually clip over. So Payson Johnson, because of all the mistakes that just happened to his teammate out front, Eagland, he was watching the time come down very quickly after the mistake he made, and suddenly he is all over Eagland out front again. Same spot last time that he hit Eagland in the corner. Much closer this time. Having not hit his teammate as they head up to the sky shot. Oh, Johnson almost tucked a front wheel, then carry speed over the rut. They're going to be nose to tail on the sky shot. They both whip it. Johnson much more of a scrub and almost knuckles it. Colt Hans, I think that is getting out of the way. Is Johnson a little mistake? Up to the top of the hill. Oh, Johnson, another mistake. He's getting sideways. He's trying to get around Hans. There's Daniel Irvine on the Takatoji Yamaha down the inside. Johnson losing a little bit of time. Eagland has survived a barrage of storms here from Payson Johnson. And Johnson, I don't think is done yet. Still Dickerson, Lang. Oh, Carter is way behind Lang. Still ahead of Hubbard in 5th, though, but I think there's almost no chance. I mean, Lang coming out of Screw You as Carter hits the sky shot. That is a huge time difference. So let's see. White flag either coming out or 2-lap card coming out. Whether the icon stays green in the upper right-hand corner is the difference. It stays green. 2 laps to go in Unadilla, and Payson Johnson is at it again. Oh, great line, and that might be it, side by side. Does Eagland have a response? Johnson takes over the lead. Payson Johnson to the front. Eagland tucks inside, but has to settle into the middle rut, and Johnson leads at Unadilla. Lap traffic coming into play a little bit. Oh, that was Copeland, I think. And Eagland almost pulled up alongside his teammate once more. On the outside, Eagland tries a different line than his teammate this time, but it doesn't work out. Seems like that inside much more preferred. This is really going to come down to the mistakes. Again, nose to tail, but this time different order. Oh, the dualies on the sky shot. You're absolutely kidding me right now. And Eagland trying to get his teammate back. It's a drag race up the hill. Payson Johnson had a mistake here at the top of the hill last time, but a lot smoother. Eagland is applying some heavy pressure, though. And I'm curious. Oh, Johnson down! He's down at the bottom of Screw You. He got a little bit out of shape and went over the edge of the rut, and he's off the bike, and that may well have cost him the moto win. Eagland back to the front, and Johnson back to 2nd. Big gap back to Dickerson in 3rd, so it'll stay as such. But that is the switch that we did not want to see Johnson have. Eagland loving every second of it, though, as he takes over the lead again and gaining good points on Lang this moto. Again, a 7-point swing. Eagland was 22 back. So 15 points down will be Eagland after this moto. And Carter will be 21 back because he's... 22 back because he's in 5th right now. He's going to get 16 points to Lang's 18. So Carter remains exactly 22 points back of Lang. Johnson, who was 12 points back entering this moto. Oh, don't fall again. Don't fall again, son. So Johnson going to pick up 22 points in this moto. That's going to be 4 more points than Lang. He'll be back down to 8 down in the championship. So the big winner on the day is going to be Eagland, even though Isaiah Dickerson is going to win the overall on a 1-3. Eagland's 4-1 is going to be a lot of points gained. Only 15 back in the championship with 3 rounds to go. And he has been by far the hottest rider down the stretch here. How about this championship fight, though? It just keeps delivering. And despite Braden Carter having an up and down day, it stayed exactly the same amongst the top 4. 22 points separate them. Payson Johnson lost points. Colby Eagland is gaining points. Final lap on the sky shot for Eagland. Nice little flick whip. Johnson is trying to close up as much as he possibly can. Scrubs it down and has to kind of double whip. Gap is down to 5.5 seconds, and Johnson throwing absolute caution to the wind. But it's costing him because he's blowing some corners as well. And Eaglin is buried in some lap traffic up ahead. Johnson, I wonder if he notices that and might just try to hope that things flip his direction. So where he crashed a lap ago at the bottom of Screw You. Gap under 5 seconds. Eaglin has got around some of the lappers. Still has a couple ahead of him, but he might just make it through. 4.3 seconds. Gap is coming down in a hurry. Eaglin is going to be so happy there's not another lap of this race, though. 2.1 seconds. Johnson flying. He's trying so hard to get there, launching out to flat. Through gravity cavity one more time. Colby Eaglin wins Moto 2 at Unadilla. Johnson second, 1.6 down. He just, what did he run? 2:16 on the last lap. That's ridiculous. A 2:11.9, his fastest lap of the race on lap 13. Isaiah Dickerson, though, is going to hold off his teammate. And Dickerson goes 1-3, wins the overall at Unadilla on the day. Lang crosses in 4th. Carter should be good for 5th. If all else stays the same. Sean Klein trying to close up down here in the last couple of corners, but I think he may well just fall short here. So Carter keeps his championship hopes alive with a 5th. 3 rounds to go, 6 motos to run. Klein comes home 6th. Hubbard 7th. Leitzel going to pick up 8th in this one. Like I said, he's going to go 8-8. Tanner Rogers is in 9th. Luke Sullivan, what a charge to get up to 10th. We did not see much of his ride this moto, but that's a pretty ridiculous one because he was outside the top 20 at one point, I believe. And he's up to 10th, and he's right on Rogers for 9th. Dropping down the hill, and Rogers holds on over Sullivan, who comes across in 10th. Jaden Wilson, better moto for the rider out of Australia this time, I believe. Yeah, 15th first moto, so he's going to cross the line 11th. 12th for Cooper Hunt. 13th Zoa Cross right behind him, 5/10ths down. Prin ends up 14th, saves 15th after the hole shot. Alex Kerr going to end up 16th in this one. Garrett Hollenbeck is going to be guaranteed points in this one with 17th, but is he going to hold the spot? Hockey inside, puts him down. No, he puts himself down. Hockey goes down. Hollenbeck in and out of gravity cavity, picks up 17th. And then, Alexander just made the pass on Hockey for 18th. Is it going to hold? It will. Hockey ends up 19th. Vanderbeek, first man to lap down in 20th. Let's wait on cuts and see. Hockey comes across, and we get ourselves some cuts. Looks like Saves got around Prin for 14th. Hunt got around Wilson for 11th. And Lang got his teammate Dickerson, which means Colby Eaglin just won the overall. Colby Eaglin has won the Unadilla National 4-1 to Dickerson's 1-4, and he just lost the overall on cuts. As Lang ends up 3rd, that switches the point scenario once again, as instead Lang now moves to 24 ahead of Carter, 17 ahead of Eaglin, and 7 ahead of Johnson, right? I think so. I think I did that math right. Oh my goodness. All right, well, that is going to send us into a very quick intermission. Great 250 action, but do not touch that URL bar, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in about 4 to 5 minutes with the 450 action here. You're watching round number 8 of the Ride365.com Nationals live here at Unadilla.
Crack of dawn, imagine you waiting by my doorstep.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to round number 8 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals. Live here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brauer, bringing you guys the action tonight here from Unadilla. We just wrapped up with the 250 class, and we're already heading into the 450 class right now. So let's go ahead and jump into these qualifying times, which took place over the last couple days. These guys getting revved up for the Unadilla National, and let's see what exactly they were able to put down as we look at our qualifying times here. Walter Gebhardt topping the timesheets on a 208.3, ahead of Alexis Leclerc, your current points leader, on a 208.6. Bryce Whelan, 209.2. Jack Haley on a 209.2 as well. And Daniel Mills on a 209.9. A couple other heavy hitters in the mix here. Adam Holm, Jeremy Siebold, just to name a few. Down the order we go, and 41 people exactly ran laps. If you don't let that one guy in, Jeremy Koner, I swear if we do a consi because there's one other guy in there. Oh, man. All right, standings. Alexis Leclerc on 311 points. Jack Haley on 305 points. Adam Holm pretty much out of the championship hunt at this point, but still in it with a shot just in case things get a little crazy out front. And he is only 49 points back of Leclerc. But Haley obviously only 6 down, really trying to kind of uproot the story here as Leclerc has been dominant in the Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Championship. Not so much here in this Ride365.com National Championship. Leclerc and Haley going at it tonight here at Unadilla. Let's jump back in the server and see. Oh, let's see. They got 36 riders in 450 Moto number 1. Please don't tell me there's only... Wait, are we just doing 36 riders? Okay. Whew. I was going to say, if it just said the 36 riders and then it showed 5 for the consi, I was going to be like, what? All right. So it looks like there is no consolation race tonight for the 450 class, which is good news, I think. I mean, it sucks that there's not enough people to fill the gate, but hey, one less race tonight before we jump in. All right, loading into 450 Moto number 1 here at Unadilla. Time to get revved up. Who have you guys got in chat? We have got 8 motos left to run in this championship, 4 rounds. Haley is 6 back of Alexis Leclerc right now. Who do you got? Alexis Leclerc, one of the greatest to ever play this game. Jack Haley, you might have a case for putting him on that list at some point. Pretty soon. Outdoor title in the 250 class, 250 Supercross champion, 450 Supercross champion, but doesn't have that 450 outdoor championship on his mantle just yet. Could this be his season where he finally completes all 4? That is actually something Leclerc lacks, if you will. Leclerc, probably one of the greatest to ever play this game, no doubt, but 0 250 statistics in the Race Factor Gaming competition until this week when he literally raced the Grand Prix on a 250. That was his first ever Race Factory race on a 250 ever this week. So Leclerc has some ridiculous 450 stats, but still got guys like Jeremy Smith who have really good 250 and 450 stats. Most wins all time in this game. Jack Haley, obviously good 250 career. And then even guys like Walter Gebhardt, Jeremy Siebold, strong 250 careers. My baby's doing well. Thank you for asking, Sturban. These stream nights are a little bit tough on my wife, and I feel for her because she has to go through the daunting task of bathing and getting our baby dressed for the evening and then feeding her and then putting her to sleep and keeping her down all while I'm streaming. So like for me, streaming at night is almost like a little bit of a break, if you will, but it sucks to say that because I really wish I could be helping her right now go through that process. Just the time that these races are run at, so can't change it obviously, but baby's doing great. Chase, no, oh no, don't tell me. Don't run out of virtual memory. Don't you do it. Try again, and then I might have to lower my graphics. I don't think Tomac, Musquin, and Anderson are the 450 big three in motocross this season. I think Tomac, Musquin, and Osborne are the big three. And look, Anderson just won a moto at Loretta's. It was insane. He rode really well. I don't see Anderson being a player for this championship. I'm sorry, Jason Anderson. If you ever listen to this, you can call me and yell at me. I don't mind that at all. I hate when these guys, like I make a statement or something like that. So like I was on the Pulp Show, right? And I'm like, I like Benny Bloss. I just think Justin Bogle still deserves his ride. I said that. And I don't want Bloss to look at me as like, oh, he hates me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just speaking what I think. I love Bloss. I think he does deserve a ride. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve any ride. But I think Bloss would probably look at that and be like, oh, he hates me. Not true. Same thing here, Anderson. If you ever listen to this, which you probably won't, but somebody might clip this and send this to you. I love your riding style. You are awesome. I just don't consider you to be a threat for this outdoor title. Just saying. So because of that, like I said, I think it's Tomac, Musquin, and Osborne as the big three. But that's just me. Kyler Hockey coming in with a 99-cent donation. Just throwing me 99 pennies or 9 dimes and 9 pennies or 3 quarters, 2 dimes and 4 pennies. I feel this is going to be mean. I'm sorry. I feel like there's a generation coming, and I don't know if it's the one after mine, because I was I don't even know what generation I was. I was born in 93. I don't know what generation that is. I'm so stupid. I don't think it's the generation after me, which is Z. It might be the next generation after that is just not going to know how to count change. Like, not a clue. Like, they're not going to understand coins because it's just like there's nothing cheap enough to buy stuff with coins, and you just use a credit card anyway most of the time. Alex Efforts dropping a $5 donation, says diaper or smoothie money. No, definitely diaper money. I don't usually buy smoothies. Maybe like a Dairy Queen smoothie. Buy me some bubble gum with that 99 cents. Please load in. Yeah, I'm a millennial. Duh. God, why did I forget that? Yeah, millennial is 82 to 94 or something like that. Yeah, I'm a stupid millennial, as they all say. But yeah, Gen Z was after me, so they're 95 to 2009 or 10 or something like that. So what's after Gen Z? I have no idea. I'm just completely lost. Come on, please load. If I run out of virtual memory, I'm going to throw something out of my window. Yeah, Fry. When I was 14, a lot of kids in my class couldn't read a clock. So you're not alone. And that was 13 years ago. Oof. Generation Alpha? I didn't realize that we moved to Greek symbols. I'd much prefer to be in like Generation Alpha than than called millennial. Like millennial is just like such a negative term. I've gone to job interviews before where I was called like a dumb millennial in a job interview. It's like, are you serious? Yeah, 81 to 96 was millennials. I mean, so there's like different distinctions. Different distinctions among all that as well. Like, some people say that millennial was like 79 to 94. Some people say it was 82 to 96. Obviously, you just said it's 81 to 96. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a clear and cut distinction. Yeah, Gen Alpha sounds sick. I would much prefer to be that. Come on, don't miss the start because we're loading bikes. Swear to JLV if we miss the start because I'm loading bikes, JLV. Come on. Yes. Oh, did we miss a start? No, we didn't. 450 moto number 1. Off and running. We just made it in time. And it's going to be a Cowie out of the inside. Bryce Whelan, perhaps? Who was it? Yeah, Bryce Whelan, 34, Panini Motorsports, gets the whole shot. That's Studio 8. Whole shot as he leads him through. So it's Whelan, Leclerc, Williams, Siebold up front. We got Brandon Holmes in the mix. Caden Speck has got a good start. Luke Magnetti. Peter Leik, Caleb Hall, Adam Holm with a good start. Daniel Mills, Ian Holm, Eklund, Logan Heagney, Kyle Robb, Braden Castellaneta, Ethan Parks, Cale Braden, Austin Bear, Walter Gebhardt, Quinn McDaniel, Devin Davis. Wow, where is Jack Haley? He is so buried in the field if we haven't seen him already. Yeah, we haven't. He is not up here. Bryce Whelan still leads the way, though. Oh, and he gets the triple down the hill, and he goes down. First time we saw it all night long, and he crashes on it. Whelan hits the deck. Lewis Williams gets taken down by Jeremy Siebold, and now it's a Rockstar Husqvarna 1-2. The defending champion, Alexis Leclerc, and this year's 450 Supercross champion, Jeremy Siebold, 1-2 on this Rockstar Husqvarna team. Now, if you're new to this series and you haven't been watching before, this team, this Rockstar Husqvarna team, legitimately ran by Arminas Jasakonis, who had just won a moto this past week in Kegums in Latvia at the MXGP of Riga. I think he won the second moto. And yeah, the dude plays MX Simulator. He's obviously on the factory Ice One Rockstar Husqvarna team. So he set up this team through the help of some other people in the game. And these are two of their superstars. Literally the two defending, like the current and defending champions of these series right now. 1-2 on the track. Crazy to see them out front already. It's Magnetti on the BPC Husqvarna that looks like the Rockstar Husky team, but it's the BPC, which stands for Blakely Powder Coating. Bryce Whelan up here as well. Daniel Mills back in 5th. Peter Leik is 6th. Brandon Holmes 7th. Walter Gebhardt comes through in 8th. Cale Braden is 9th. And Braden Castellaneta rounding out our top 10 right now. Kyle Robb back in 11th. Getting a little sideways there. And then there is Jack Haley. So Haley already making some quick moves. He's up to 12th. Trying to make the pass here on Kyle Robb. He's going to go around Castellaneta, who is down. Oh no, Haley down! Haley is down and off the bike. Oh no, and there's so many riders going by. You can see them streaking across the bottom of the screen. He finally gets going. And he's behind Ian Holm. Now he's pulling up alongside Ian Holm, so he might be able to pass him. Tries to scrub out a gravity cavity, but Holm is going to hold it. I think this is back, and it's got to be outside of the top 20 now, so maybe he's in 22nd, just moved into 22nd, that is, around Ian Holm. We'll wait for his name to scroll across the top of the screen, but Jack Haley buried right now. He's back here with Kyle Robb, who just crashed again. Haley off the outside of the track. Holm goes back by. Trying to find his way through. Ryder was down right there on the face of the jump, so it is actually up to what's now 22nd exactly. He was moving into 22nd, so look at me guessing that correctly. Goes around Ian Holm to move up to 21st and is on Kyle Robb for P20 right now. Robb trying to hold the number 2 machine at bay. They rip through a little roller section there at the bottom and then up to the top of the hill. Oh, Ryder's down everywhere here. It's a bunch of Dylan Long. Kellen is sexy. I love Dylan Long's team names. I'm sorry. I will just say it because I love him. He alternates between like other people that he's saying stuff about, like, you know, he doesn't always say that just me and then something. Me plus adjective. It's usually other people plus adjective, but I still love it nonetheless. It's funny to see that he's got his own team set up, if you will, but he changes the name of it every week. Back out front to Leclerc, though. Still ahead of Siebold, dropping into gravity cavity. 5 minutes in, 25 minutes and 2 laps left to go, and Leclerc is in a perfect position to gain a lot of points right now, with Haley so far down the order. So it is Leclerc from Siebold. Luke Magnetti still in third. And Bryce Whelan, after grabbing that Studio 8 hole shot award, drops back to fourth. His teammate Walter Gebhardt is coming through here, matching his number in fifth right now. Brandon Holmes is sixth. Daniel Mills right behind him in seventh. Adam Holm in eighth. Peter Like in ninth. And Austin Eklund inside of the top 10 right now. Eklund down the inside of Like. Does he hold the spot? The Locomotive trying to fight back on the 83, but it's going to be Eklund to complete the pass. Tom Holmes still up ahead of these guys. Pretty sparsed out at the front so far. Not a lot of close action. Siebold trying to keep his teammate at bay, but I think push comes to shove, Siebold's probably not going to lose to Leclerc, or beat Leclerc here, I should say. Bryce Whelan trying to close up on Magnetti. He got a great drive out of the corner, but then kind of lost a lot of it on the uphill. Tries to peek inside. That's no good. Almost falls. And Gebhardt got a little sideways there, trying to tail them down. D-Mills, Holm, Eklund, Like, Bear, in a good spot here early. He's in 10th. Brandon Holmes back to 11th, and Jack Haley once again still is in 12th. Got Cale Braden and Jeff Cooper in a bit of a battle behind him. Let's see what these guys are doing. Cooper's trying to go to the outside. Braden goes to block. They both funnel to the outside. Who gets the better drive out of the corner? Cooper got a great drive, actually. They both launch almost all the way across the starting line. That is awesome to watch how far they go on these 450s. Cooper tries to go to the outside, turns into the inside into this corner. Let's see if he uses it to his advantage. Oh, just loses traction there a bit. And Braden holds on, and then we got a battle going on behind these guys. Bobby DeSalle, Guillaume Macquignon, and Chase Blakely. Blakely goes for the hard cut on Macquignon. And holds the spot. Now he's going to try to go after Bobby DeSalle up ahead of him. Jeff Cooper's still sitting right there. So this is kind of the best action we're watching here is all these guys going after it. Some actual close battles happening. To sell a mistake. Blakely peeks inside. Who's down here at the bottom of the hill? It is Peter Like on the 83. Gets up right behind Blakely and ahead of Maquignon. Oh, outside. Cooper goes down. And DeSalle still trying to close up on Cale Braden. Rider down on the outside is Austin Bear on the 94. He gets going behind Maquignon, the MX World team. Oh, just get whipped on. Bobby DeSalle laying it over in Cale Braden's face to make that pass stick. Austin Eklund still giving chase to Brandon Holmes, and then Jack Haley dropping down the hill just ahead of them. Haley's up to 8th. He did a 2:14.9, and there's 3 packs ahead of him, or 2 3-packs ahead of him, I should say. There's a 3-pack here that is Seabolt, Holm, and who's off the front of this group? It is Daniel Mills. Yep, D. Mills. And then Gebhardt at the back of this more spread out 3-pack. 2:11.4 out of Gebhardt, ridiculous. Bryce Whelan, his teammate, up in 3rd, almost went down. And Magnetti is now up to 2nd. Where's Seabolt gone? Oh, that's right, he's back to 7th, so that is a change of things. Leclerc, 2:10.7 out front. Are you kidding? Dude is ripping. Look at the lead he has. It is dead quiet on this side of the track. No noise. He's so far out in front, it just sounds like he's on the track by himself. Look at the lead already. 10 minutes in, 16-second lead. He's back over by the Sky Shot, literally by himself. Insane. Leclerc out front right now. Just putting down laps. That's what he does. He gets a good start. Very McGrath-esque, Leclerc. Good starts, fast early laps, pulls a big lead, coast home wins. Does it often, that's for sure. So Whelan trying to give chase to Magnetti still. Gebhardt just went down, and he's going to fall back to that other group, currently led by Mills. Although Gebhardt now is off the front of that, and then Adam Holm. Oh, Haley's got around Seabolt and is up to 7th now. 2:11.8 last time by. This is where Jack Haley starts to shine, I think. He starts running some stupendously quick laps to try to match Leclerc's stuff out front, and at the very least get himself up to 2nd, only lose 3 points in the championship. That would be ideal given the situation, because Leclerc is so far out in front already. I just don't get it sometimes when I watch these guys. Haley just landed to dead flat, and it looked like his bike barely moved, like no hard crunch landing type of thing. Look at this, launches way across. It looks like normal, like the suspension just soaks it all up. No big deal. I don't get it. How's that suspension dialed on this Jack Daniels Racing Suzuki, though? So I want to do a lap time check here with Haley before we start diving through the field a little bit more and see where things are at. 2:12.3. Faster than everybody ahead of him except Leclerc and Whelan, who just did his best lap at a 2:12 dead. So Haley on a pretty good charge forward. As mentioned, he has got around Seabolt. And then Brandon Holmes back here in 9th, Eklund 10th. Blakely's up to 11th. Cale Braden is in 12th. DeSalle 13th. Davis in 14th. Like is 15th. Kyle Robb 16th. Austin Bear is 17th. Oh, Bear down. Guillaume Maquignon goes through. So Bear gets up still behind him. Here's Dylan Long dropping down to the other side of Gravity Cavity. He is just ahead of Kevin Gonzalez, the other atom.com rider. Of course, the first atom.com rider is Mr. Atom himself, Mr. Adam Holm. Jeremy Cohenauer, Jeff Cooper. So we got a nice kind of freight train back here in the back half of the points paying positions. Still fairly close together between a lot of these guys, although not much passing going on. It's like Macignon is in the final points paying position. Cooper's in 22nd. Cohenauer goes into the final points position. I think I saw Rob up here trying to get around Devin Davis, although he just made a mistake and lost some time. So Austin Bear's trying to creep up behind him. Oof. This guy shot in all of its glory. I love it. We didn't really get a look on the first lap of anybody throwing some big whips, so try to make sure next time we don't forget that. Oh, Bear off the bottom of the Screw U. Tries to get going ahead of Dylan Long. It's going to be bar to bar at the top of the hill. Long, a nice scrub. Bear trying to keep it tidy on the inside. Long will have this turn into the inside if he can get to the apex here. He's trying to get it. Now he's going to have to back out of the challenge, and he goes down as well. Oh, Gonzalez goes by. There goes Cohenauer. Macignon and Cooper all go by. Bummer for Long, who was just trying to find a couple more points there. And, whoa, Kyle Robb is way off in the grandstands. That is way out of town. Peter Lyke, Blakely, Davis. Davis trying to run down Cale Braden. Braden on the 233 elevated motorsports ride. I feel like Cale Braden was a guy that early in the year you noticed the elevated motorsports team because of him. Like, he was putting them on the map a little bit. Well, lately they picked up some 250 talent that has really done a number for them, and I feel like you don't get to talk about Cale Braden that often, but he's carrying this 450 effort for the elevated motorsports squad. All the while, guys like Benjamin Saves are doing a great job for them in the 250 division. Still good to see Cale Braden putting in some good rides. Bobby DeSalle kind of came out of nowhere. Was fastest qualifier a week ago at the MXS GP of Indonesia in Palembang, and completed 0 motos that day as he started both of them, hole shot both of them, and then quit the motos during both of them while in second place. No idea why that was, but at least this week he came back and actually raced both motos of the MXS GP of Czechia. Austin Eklund still giving chase behind him after he just got up from a crash. Big gap up to Brandon Holmes, well out of Screw U. Daniel Mills ahead of him. Oh, Seabolt and Haley starting to freight train a little bit here. They're catching Adam Holm. Over halfway into the motos, so once we see how this battle pans out, we'll do a top 20 rundown. Kind of already did it in reverse order, I guess, but still kind of good to go through everybody and talk about them briefly. So this battle for 5th now brewing. Seabolt off the back of Haley. Both of them trying to catch Holm. And it is for P5 on the track. A little sideways. Who was that going down? Was that Haley? No, it was Holm. So Holm down, and then, oh man, Haley just got up to 5th and then blew the corner. So Seabolt gets 2 spots for the price of none. Had to pay nothing and got him for free. He's going to try to set sail after Bryce Whelan, who is in 4th, just ahead of him. Walter Gebhardt, a lonely 3rd, trying to run down Luke Magnetti, who has been quite the superstar here these last few weeks. Finding his way up inside of the top 5 quite often, has the number 107 BPC rider. And doing a fabulous job right now to hold on to 2nd. Walter Gebhardt would like to have a word with him about that. And as things have stifled out before we get too far away, let's go ahead and do a top 20 rundown. This top 20 rundown is brought to you by the fine folks at Racetech Suspension, racetech.com. Head over there today to get your suspension serviced, get their patented gold valves Maybe get your engine tuned up because they do some engine stuff over there now as well. Whatever you really need, Racetech Suspension might be able to dial you in with it. So go to racetech.com, see what they offer, and maybe tell them that I sent you or somebody from MX Sim sent you. And Chris Riesenberg, aka Checkers over there, might be like, oh yeah, I know who you are. So yeah, racetech.com bringing you guys this top 20 rundown. Alexis Leclerc leading the Rockstar Husky #1 machine out front here at Unadilla. 18.5 minutes are gone. He's trying to pick up yet another moto win here. And moving into second now, round Magnetti, is Walter Gebhardt on the Panini Motorsports #5. He has made his way up into second around Magnetti, who drops back to third, is Luke Magnetti on the BPC 107. Still a great ride nonetheless. Fourth, Bryce Whelan, Panini Motorsports #34. So it's a Panini 2-4 at the moment. And, well, you know what? Magnetti, Mom Spaghetti, he's in a bit of a Panini sandwich. As Whelan holds on to P4. Jeremy Seabolt, Rockstar Husky #19, runs in fifth, but he's running himself off the racetrack right there. Lost a little bit of front-end traction and went sideways. So he's going to regroup, try to get back after it. Daniel Mills is in sixth on the Jack Daniels Racing #31, but he just got hung up in the corner a little bit. So here comes his teammate, Jack Haley. So Haley now moves up into sixth on the #2, JDR Suzuki. Mills right behind him in seventh. Adam Holm on the atom.com #17 runs in eighth. Ninth for Brandon Holmes on the rival decal QM1 #62. And 10th, Austin Eklund. Wait, did I get that right? Yes, 10th. Austin Eklund, Odyssey MX #37. Back to 11th, Bobby DeSell on the rival decal QM1 Glizzy #341. I don't know why I don't have his skins. Chase Blakely back to 12th on the BPC #21. 13th for Cale Brayton on the Elevated Motorsports KTM, the 233 machine. Devin Davis coming through in 14th on the #30. I think he's privateer lifing it out there. 15th for Kyle Robb on the Prime Designs Graphics #23. That's a team name we haven't heard for a little while, but Prime Designs, I believe Andrew O'Hagan is part of that program over there. Not 100% sure. 16th, Jeremy Cohenauer on the #13 MV Films ride, right behind former teammate Kyle Robb. 17th for Kevin Gonzalez on the atom.com #33. 18th for Peter Like on the MV Films #83. 19th for Dylan Long on the Kellen is Sexy Husqvarna on the #117 machine. And rounding out our top 20 right now, Reed Young on the Tegrity #42. Right? Yeah, right. Well, actually, Peter Lake drops back to 20th, but that is our top 20 rundown. Quentin McDaniel, first man outside looking in, trying to close things down. And that top 20 rundown again is brought to you by Racetech Suspension. Little three-rider grouping here of Cohenauer, Davis, and Gonzalez. A lot of threes in this group. Cohenauer on the 13, Davis on the 30, and Gonzalez on the 33. There's 3 riders on screen, but there are 4 threes in their numbers. Trying to have a bit of a battle amongst each other. Always good to see multiple manufacturers battling. I do sometimes occasionally like the nice aesthetic look of having teammates start together out front or just be together, but this also looks really cool too when you have very different kind of stories or backgrounds all coming together on the same spot of the racetrack. I think that was Reed Young, by the way, that just went down. But he is, no, actually, I'm sorry, he's 19th now, so drop back behind these guys. Still really cool to see, though, the MV Films #13 of Cohenauer. I guess you would say this is the DX3 ride of Devin Davis, because I know that that's his program, but he isn't running a name. And the atom.com #33 of Gonzalez as Davis finally jumps over Cohenauer. We got some movement here. Can Gonzalez make the pass? Cohenauer's trying to fight back. Almost alongside. Gonzalez trying to take advantage of them getting together a little bit here. Cohenauer's going to peek inside. Gonzalez and Davis are on the outside, and Cohenauer makes the pass back. Good battling here, back and forth. A little deeper down the field. Stuff you don't normally see, and Davis runs into the back of Cohenauer. So Gonzalez going to get a free spot in the end and continues to try to tail Cohenauer here a bit. Gosh, those like triple whips that you do over the jump sometimes, they're so scary. You're like, oh, just come back the right direction, please. Eklund getting up from another fall, it seems, is right here ahead of Bobby DeSell. DeSell holding steady as Eklund gets a little sideways. Kind of stayed the same. Brandon Holmes way up here. Adam Holm giving chase to Daniel Mills. Luke Magnetti, Jeremy Siebold, Bryce Whelan. Wow, Jack Haley has gone well forward. He's up to third. 2:10.3, did a 2:12.4 last time by. He's 20 seconds down at Gebhardt, though, and that is going to kill him in the end here. I don't think he's going to be able to get to Gebhardt, so he might be looking at third as a best, which means he's already 6 down in the championship. He might lose another 5 points here. Drop back to 11 down. Not ideal, but not the worst thing ever either. Little hop and a skip through the ruts there. Yeah, we just got a request in chat from Hollywood, actually, to take an onboard lap. So we'll just sit back and listen to Jack Haley work his way around the Unadilla circuit here. Haley goes down, just as we were going to be on board with him here for a little bit, and he goes down. So he's going to get up right behind Adam Holm, right ahead of Siebold, who just went down. So why not? Let's just continue the lap anyway. Lost a couple spots, but let's just keep on going. Haley goes down again. So it's really coming unglued here a little bit for the number 2 machine. Mills and Holm having a bit of a battle up here. Holm on the 17, Mills on the 31. And time is winding down here pretty quickly. We have not seen much of Leclerc. We'll go up and take a look at him in a bit. Holm opening up a bit of a gap on Mills, trying to get away in P4. So Haley now back down in 6th. And yeah, this is not going to be ideal for him. Points day going up in smoke a bit. Oh, Magnetti just got so sideways at the bottom of the hill, and Holm is going to capitalize. Pulls up alongside, just does not quite have an angle just yet. Around the outside, Holm trying to make that pass stick. Up the hill, out the other side, and still can't quite get it. Holm and Magnetti. Oh, Magnetti down. Oh, Magnetti hits the deck. Holm goes by. Mills goes through as well. Lapper right there. And then here comes Haley. Haley is going to get there just as Magnetti got going. So he continues a battle with Haley. Haley dropping down so deep in a gravity cavity, almost landed at the very bottom, and then scrubbed super hard to get to the inside of Magnetti. Nice move in the end by the number 2. Meanwhile, Bryce Whelan is right on these guys. He is not trying to let them go whatsoever. It's a little 3-rider train here. Magnetti crashing kind of started the whole thing. And Whelan now putting pressure on Magnetti. He's going to try to go inside here. Doesn't quite work out there for the 34, though. Man, Whelan launched so far down the hill. And almost alongside, in fact, is through on Magnetti. Just goes right alongside him and makes that pass. Incredible stuff there for the 34. Magnetti trying to come back around. Trying to get the drive, scrubs up the hill, lands off the inside of the track a little bit. Good battle for 6th. Kind of still a battle for 5th because Haley's just ahead of these guys. Just hit the sky shot. Up in P5. Trying to get to his teammate Daniel Mills in 4th. Adam Holm is still holding down 3rd. Walter Gebhardt is 2nd. And Alexis Leclerc just checked in again out front, so 3 to go this time by. And we saw in the 250 class, they just barely got it to the flag to go on a lap number 15 before time expired. Leclerc left himself plenty of time on the clock as there's still about 10 seconds left on the clock right now. And he is 6 corners past the finish line jump. So Leclerc laying a beatdown on the field here today in the 450 class in Moto number 1. Time now expired. 2-lap board will come out next time by, but Leclerc on a different level right now, really, different planet. And if Haley can't make some passes and get himself up to 3rd, big point swing right here about to happen. Haley's got to get starts. Got to figure out a start somehow, some way, just to start inside the top 10 at least. Because he started way back in this moto, crawled up inside of the top 10 early, but then already such a big gap between where he was to Leclerc in relation. And it's just not going to cut it. Gotta get good starts to win these titles. And Leclerc, year after year, patented good starter. Probably not going to swear to this, but I would be willing to bet Leclerc has the most hole shots in this game's history. Just a thought. If he doesn't, got to be close because he gets some dang good starts. Gebhardt down before the sky shot here. And Holm coming up the step up behind, so not terribly close, but also not way far away anymore either. And that might spell some good news for Jack Haley, who's trying to close up on these guys. 2 seconds back of his teammate, and suddenly Gebhardt is not really far gone in 2nd. If things get a little dicey up there, Haley still might have a super long shot at 2nd. I know it's kind of a ridiculous statement, but can't rule anything out at this stage of the race. Dropping down the screw U. Oh man, Mills blew the inside, and that is going to be Haley up to 4th. 5 seconds back of Holm. That's going to be huge points if he can get to him. Massive championship implications. 2-lap board is out, by the way. Leclerc checks in out front. Oh, Haley blows the corner around the outside and then gets cross-rutted, so his teammate Mills is going to pull up alongside of him. I don't think Mills is going to pass him, though. No chance here. Oh, wait, Mills... No, yeah, Mills is still right there. I thought Mills maybe went down. So 6.5 seconds. Holm is 10 seconds back of Gebhardt as they cross over the finish line jump here. So there is Gebhardt. There is Holm. Haley still in 4th. Mills right behind him in 5th. Magnetti is slipped back to 6th, but he's kind of all alone at this point. Austin Eklund is in 7th ahead of Bryce Whelan. Now is dropped all the way back to 8th. Bobby DeSalle running in P9, and Blakely rounds out our top 10 right now. He's got Brandon Holmes 2 seconds behind him. Seabold has dropped all the way to 12th. Rough moto for Seabold. Got Reed Young closing up on him. So things are pretty settled throughout the field here. Really want to keep an eye on what Haley can get to. If he can get any more spots at all. He might not even be able to make any more passes. Holm trying to keep tabs on Gebhardt ahead of him. It seems like that gap has come down again. 6.3 seconds now. Leclerc's so far out in front. He's going to get the white flag in about 20 seconds or so here. And these guys are still halfway on the other side of the track. So Holm peeks up ahead of him off the sky shot, sees where Gebhardt is in relation to him, puts his head back down, and gonna try to go after him if he can. Gap has been fluctuating. Gebhardt's dealing with some lappers. Kind of open back up there, so Holm made a couple mistakes. Jack Haley now behind his teammate Mills again. He is 6 seconds behind Mills. So Haley just cannot stay on two wheels in this moto, and it is really hurting him here, down in 5th. So if it were to stay this way and he ends up 5th in this moto, 9-point championship swing. 6 down already, another 9 points lost. He'll be 15 back in the championship on a night that he really could have taken Leclerc to the cleaners even. Haley goes 1-1 and he gets the red plate no matter what happens, but he just could not put it together in moto number 1, and a start really killing him. Dropping down into gravity cavity, white flag is waving. Curious to see if Mills just lets Haley through. Meanwhile, out front, Leclerc, 41 seconds. Well, he felt like he was so dominant in the 450 class in the GP scene. Wanted a challenge this week. Dropped down and raced the 250 class in the RFGP of Czechia for the first time ever in Race Factor Gaming competition. Leclerc raced the 250. And, yeah, won that too. So Leclerc doesn't keep his beatdowns to the 450 bunch. He likes spreading it out evenly if possible, apparently. And just trying to relap his teammate Siebold. Siebold gets into him there. I think he's trying to let him go back by, but it's turning out to be a bit of a teammate Suarez, so Leclerc goes by him. Couple corners left, and Leclerc will extend his championship lead. How much we will find out as Haley is coming to the line behind him. But regardless of which, it's a perfect first moto for Leclerc. Alexis Leclerc wins Moto 1 at Unadilla. Landed it, and then crashed in the ruts. Gebhardt looks like he's going to hold on to second. Holm is third. Mills is in fourth. Magnetti is now ahead of Haley. He is up into fifth, so that change of position, Mills letting Haley have it for fourth. I don't think it's going to happen anymore because he would let Magnetti go by to give him the spot. I doubt that's going to happen in this situation. So Haley might end up sixth in this one. That's going to be 10 points lost in this moto alone. 16 down in the championship with 7 motos to run. Oh, don't go down. Oh my goodness, that was close. He goes down. Eklund still back there lurking. So in the end, Holm will pick up third. Gebhardt crossed the line in second. Daniel Mills drops in and out of gravity cavity to take fourth. Magnetti one more corner and he will pick up fifth in this one. Indeed he does. And Jack Haley, wow, all the way back to sixth. Kind of can't believe that. Austin Eklund's going to come through, pick up seventh in this one. Bobby DeSell looking to pick up P8. Whelan from whole shot back to ninth. And Blakely should round out our top 10 in this one. 11th right now is Brandon Holmes. 12th for Reed Young. And the final man on the lead lap, Cale Braden, is in 13th. So behind him was Jeremy Siebold, as we saw Leclerc putting him a lap down. Jeff Cooper ends up 15th in this one. Kevin Gonzalez was 16th. Kyle Robb was 17th. Devin Davis ended up in 18th in this one. 19th for Jeremy Cohenauer. And Dylan Long picks up the final points paying position in 20th. So we wait for these guys ahead to come across and we'll get cuts. Looks as though Reed Young is through. Cale Braden. And somebody down, looks like P28 perhaps coming through as well behind. So we'll go back to 20th, wait for that guy to come across and give us cuts. And there we go, cuts are in. Looks like Kevin Gonzalez leaped up to 14th from 16th. So we got Siebold and Cooper on cuts. And Braden, well, no, that stayed the same. Everything else stayed the same. Leclerc confirmed moto number 1 winner here at Unadilla. All right, little 5-minute intermission here, but we are not going off the air. So if you guys have a question that you would like to ask me, now would be a good time to do so. I'd be happy to answer any and all inquiries. So shoot them my way. I actually got to run real quick. When I come back, I'll be, happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So shoot them my way. All right, sorry about that. PC specs. So I have a, let me think. Okay, so I have a GeForce 1080. I have, man, why am I just drawing a blank? I have a i7 6600K, 16 gigabytes of RAM. I think I have an Asus ROG Gamer 370Z motherboard. I don't know. I used to have a list of it, but I'm blanking on it right now. How good was Jeff Emig? He was pretty damn good in his days. Like 95 through 98, even Jeff Emig was pretty damn good. YZ or KX, I don't have a preference. I really just ride any bike that I can. Love them all. What do I think about Roczen and his decision, and what is your perspective on the future of his career? People aren't going to like this, but I totally respect and understand Roczen's decision. He's gone through a hell of a lot this year. He, obviously coming off of the Epstein-Barr virus, he gets shingles. He's been dealing with little nagging injuries here and there. His wife is pregnant. And speaking from experience, when my wife was pregnant, we took extra precautions so that she, well, really me nor her, came down with COVID, so that her getting COVID didn't affect the baby while she was pregnant. And, even after, we're still being pretty careful about it. Me personally, like, I'm not that worried about my health I'm much more worried about my child's health. So I think Roxon is probably in that same boat where it's like, this is a situation where he's taking time off. He's not getting paid from what I hear. So the team's not paying him. Sponsors aren't paying him. Spends more time with his family, his wife, as his child is about to be born. And he stays safer. And he heals up. So to me, I think it was a totally fine decision, and I respect him for it. Kyler Hockey is no longer racing. The 250 class already happened. Right? Unless he's in this 450 class, so I'm just stupid. It's actual online players. Can't get in the servers. Download the object pack. The track is different from the forums. I don't know how to help you there. If you have the object pack and the track on the forums, then you should have everything. Is there a rider that has beaten Stefan Everts and Ricky Carmichael? Like, ever? Yeah, like, there's plenty of people that beat Carmichael straight up and Everts straight up. Yeah, first person settings are as follows. 110 field of view, 1 on the height, 25 on the angle, and 50 on the gimbal. Braden McNeil asks a great question. What community do you think is better, MX Sim or MX Bikes? People are going to hate this answer in the Sim community, but MX Bikes is, because they actually care about helping out people, I think. Like Sim, these days, not a lot of people are there or that are willing to help. Like, there are some. There are really great people in the Sim community, no question. But MX Bikes is like full of people that are like, yeah, man, we want to get you in the game, blah, 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 blah. That's how Sim was when I started playing back in 2011. So many people willing to help and be forthcoming and super nice and stuff like that. So to me, MX Bikes is better for that reason. But anyway. All right, 450 Moto number 2 set and ready to go. We are off and running at Unadilla. Who's going to get the whole shot? It's coming from the inside. It is going to probably be Leclerc, although Whelan got to the corner first. Whelan again. Whelan, Studio 8 Whole Shot Award 2 times tonight. He is $10 richer. He's going to go buy himself a nice set of Pokemon cards after this one. So it's Whelan dropping into Gravity Cavity first, outside the other side ahead of Leclerc. Dylan Long over there in third. We got 4 riders side by side in fourth, and it's Haley who's going to get the better of all of them as he cuts down the inside, passes Gebhardt, passes Blakely, passes Seabolt, moves himself up. Now he's right on Dylan Long there. Oh, Long goes down in front of Haley, and it stacks him up. Haley somehow skirts around him, but Blakely and Gebhardt both able to go by. So Long hitting the deck. And through Gebhardt and Blakely go. But Bryce Whelan still leading the way, and I wanted to get a good view of the sky shot on lap number 1, so that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to watch Whelan and Leclerc hit it on the side cam, and then the front cam at the bottom of the hill is what we'll do it for the rest of everybody. It's a good view at the bottom of the hill, I think. So we'll use that cam to our advantage. Whelan out front. Ooh, nice style there. Didn't get to see what Leclerc did, but there's Gebhardt. Blakely and Seabolt side by side. There's Eklund, a nice one for Bear. Upside down, Brandon Holmes. Oh, I have no idea if he landed that. I hope he did. He was doing some sort of underflip thing. Dylan Long, Adam Holm in there. I see Cohenauer, Mills, Reed Young. Oh my gosh, so many people. Peter Like, Haley's well back now. Gonzalez. I think that was that Devin Davis or maybe Logan Heagney. More people still coming off the back. I think there's a couple more perhaps. Kyle Robb. I think that's it. Oh man, did Brandon Holmes land that? I don't think he did, unfortunately, because he's fallen back from where he was. Damn, if he landed that, that was sick. He was doing like, it went to whip to like underflip 360 roll thing, and it looked like it was coming around, but I guess maybe it just didn't quite get all the way there. Bummer. Anyway, back up front. It's Leclerc out front. Surprise, surprise, trying to go 1-1 here today. And boy, oh boy, Jack Haley got a good start and then grabbed a paintball gun and shot himself right in both of his feet. Put him well back. So Leclerc, Gebhardt, 1-2. Seabolt, another good start for the number 19 machine. Can he convert on it this time, though? First moto didn't quite go his way, dropping well down the order. He'd eventually, I think, come home in 12th, right? As he's well off the track there. Oh my goodness, Seabolt, as he gets on right in front of Chase Blakely. Seabolt actually finished up 15th in the first moto, so Seabolt's got much better start. Well, another opportunity, I should say, right here to make amends for how bad it was at the end of the first moto, as Blakely and him are nose to tail. Gonzalez, I think, or no, is that Whelan on the 34, actually, I should say, right behind them. Wow, inside move. Seabolt gets back around Blakely. And then around the outside, Whelan's trying to go up the hill. Seabolt off the side of the track. Blakely trying to close up behind him. 3 different lines, and wow, I'm kind of surprised how well Whelan's line worked on the far inside. He actually just landed on top of Blakely. Not sure Blakely's going to be too thrilled about that, and he's trying to put the hammer down to go back after him. So he's trying to cut inside, but Whelan goes to shut the door. And unlike last moto, a lot of guys cutting inside there. I'm actually surprised. There's a lot of people that were using the outside line early in the race, and it developed a lot better. So people kept using it. Now a lot of people going inside there. This 450 class seemingly changing it up a bit. So dropping down into gravity cavity and out the other side. Suddenly Bryce Whelan putting some serious heat on Jeremy Seabolt here. Whelan had a peak, but backed out of the challenge, and Seabolt around the outside was a little bit stronger anyway, so it wouldn't have really come to fruition there for the 34. He just got a little rear end slide on that takeoff. Crowded back together. Pace these guys are running is crazy. Well, it's separated out a little bit. So Blakely's still dealing with some pressure here from Eklund. 37 Odyssey MX rider on the BPC. 21 ahead of him of Blakely. What seems to be the reality with this track is that there's not a lot of places that you can gain a lot of time. Just little tiny increments of tenths of seconds here, tenths of seconds there. Comes down to getting a good drive out of certain corners, it seems. Eklund's going to try to swing around the bottom of the hill here at Screw You up to the top. right there all over Chase Blakely. Trying to make something happen here. Inside move. Will it work? It does. He makes the pass happen. Now does Blakely have a response? Up ahead, I just see Whelan got around Siebold. We'll go up to that battle for a moment and see what's going on there. Siebold's trying to tuck back inside. Can't quite get the drive out of the corner, though. And Whelan holding on the 34. Whoa, we got to change for the lead up front. Leclerc has lost it to Gebhardt. I don't know what happened, but we have a new leader in Unadilla, and it is Walter Gebhardt, who finished second in the first moto. And talk about playing spoiler, he might cost the overall win to Leclerc today. That would be kind of a unique situation with Haley and Leclerc in the title fight to have Gebhardt come through. Play spoiler. A lot of time left, though, obviously. Over 22 minutes and 2 laps still to go. But as of right now, Leclerc suddenly doing the chasing again. He is 2 seconds down, did a 2:16.3 last time. Are you kidding me? 2:09.7 out of Leclerc. Like, what? His lap times are ridiculous. So let's see if and how quickly he can close up on Gebhardt ahead of him. Try to steal this lead back as we stay on board with them up to top of the section out here. By the way, I keep seeing you asking in chat, Hard Shot Master. I used to play this game competitively. I was fairly decent at one point. Actually won a moto in this class as well. But honestly, it just, as you keep seeing from Will, it takes a ton of time to be really good and competitive at this game, and I just don't have that time on my hands anymore. And I actually really enjoy these broadcasts, given the call of the action to you guys. Broadcasting is a passion of mine. I hope to one day call some real-life motocross if I can. So practicing my talents year after year, doing these broadcasts on Start Your Systems is a good way to kind of hone in my skills if I take those opportunities. And quite honestly, I don't have a desire to be as fast as these guys in the game anymore, because the speeds, like I last raced competitively in this game in 2017, and the speeds that you have to go to be competitive is, oof, it's really hard. 2:09.7, Leclerc laying it down. Gebhardt, a 2:10 flat. He's done a 2:09.7 of his own. Pace out front is ridiculous right now. Look at how much of a gap they've already established as well. And the battle for the lead is on. Leclerc was 3/10 faster that last lap, but Gebhardt not wanting to give it up at all. This could come to blows here. Look at Gebhardt launching to the top of the hill. Wow, how'd he land that? Leclerc, oh, Gebhardt just throwing a nice oppo whip. Leclerc trying to lay down a scrub. Drag race up the hill again. Gebhardt gets the advantage. But Leclerc goes long at the top of the hill, and he's going to try to go outside to in. It does not work. He blows the rut. And Gebhardt keeps it steady. Further back, it's Eklund still in third. Siebold is in fourth. Blakely's up to fifth. Whelan is in sixth. Mills back here in seventh. Haley's in eighth. Bobby DeSalle runs ninth, and Caden Speck is rounding out our top 10 currently. But all eyes on this lead battle, because it's going to be a good one. Gebhardt a little mistake, and Leclerc is going to get a great drive. He launches so far across the starting line. The pace out front, mental. Leclerc back to the lead, a mistake out of Gebhardt. And the Panini Motorsports number 5 machine goes back to the drawing board once again. What does he have in his back pocket in terms of trying to make a pass on Leclerc? Dropping back down into gravity cavity once again. Same line again on the second from the inside, turns to the second from the inside again. Leclerc, a little mistake, so Gebhardt kind of hopped to the inside there to try to avoid him, but Leclerc stayed up, so no harm, no foul. And Gebhardt's going to try an inside line here. We haven't seen many people taking some of these different lines. A lot of outsides in that corner to get the drive down this long straightaway. But Leclerc, seems like it worked out pretty well. Oh, Gebhardt's getting such good drives out of some of these corners. If he can do it consistently, he's just... Every other corner, it seems like Leclerc does something a little bit better. Kind of matching each other's mistakes, if you will, in and out of the corners. Gebhardt nails it. Leclerc has a little bobble. Leclerc nails it. Gebhardt has a little bobble. They're going to go bar to bar. Little dualies action. Gebhardt going long, though. Oh, no, and he goes down. Clips a hay bale on the side of the track. And not going to get passed by Eklund nor Blakely. But still loses a ton of time to race leader Alexis Leclerc. Seabolt back in 5th. Mills is 6th. Bryce Whelan is 7th. Bobby DeSalle running 8th. Caden Speck 9th. Magnetti 10th. Reed Young 11th. And Jack Haley has dropped back to 12th, but his lap time at 2:09.4. And he did a 2:11.8, but then lost a ton of time, it seems. So Haley is just coming unglued a little bit today. And after that first moto, as we mentioned, lost another 10 points in the championship, so he went from being 6 down to 16 down, and he's kind of going towards that direction again in this moto with another bad finish potentially here. Although it just got around Caden Speck, who was down, so a little bit of a free pass there. Braden Castellaneta now right behind Speck. Caleb Hall leading, well, Quentin McDaniel just had a fall. And Brandon Holmes went through. There's McDaniel. There's Devin Davis over the top. Jeremy Cohenauer going around Austin Bear for a position. And I think Peter Leicht is in the final points bank position. Yes, he is. He's got a bit of people behind him, though. Cooper, Holm, Macquignon, and Ian Holm. Ian hits the deck there. Cooper closing up on Peter Leicht. Peter Leicht a mistake. Cooper almost gets into the side of him. Whoa, who just went flipping off the side of the track? That was Leicht getting tossed around. And then Cooper makes a mistake, so Adam Holm takes advantage of it. So switching of positions going on a little further back. Devin Davis trying to close up on Quentin McDaniel. Bit of a close fight going on here for some good points paying positions. Excuse me. Brandon Holmes actually kind of falling a little bit into these guys' clutches. Got to be careful not to have another mistake, or else he might lose 2 spots very quickly. And just as quick as Devin Davis closed up on McDaniel, McDaniel now closing up on Holmes ahead of him. And another rider just went down. It was Speck again. So all these guys going by. Caden Speck, who has to check up and roll the sky shot. And then Brandon Holmes went down on the backside of the sky shot. So all those guys plus Braden Castellaneta just went back around him. Musical positions going on. Caleb Hall a little further up the road. Reed Young getting a little bit of a bad drive up out of Screw U. So he's going to have Caleb Hall putting some pressure on him before long. Oh, Hall inside move on Young. Doesn't quite get it to work, but then checks up to get a better drive down this straightaway. Seems like launching a flat, though, might be the better move there. Reed Young trying to hold off Caleb Hall just in case things get dicey up the road. He might be able to take advantage of some misfortune from Jack Haley, Bobby DeSalle, Luke Magnetti. These guys in a bit of a fight as well. Magnetti and DeSalle, much closer of a battle than what Haley is trying to do from coming from behind here. DeSalle and Magnetti. Oh, Magnetti off the side of the track. DeSalle's going to go by. Oh, my goodness. How did Haley avoid them both? Absolutely splitting the gap there did Jack Haley and just barely made it through. Fortunately for him, gaining some more points now. Bryce Whelan right on the back of Daniel Mills. This is for 6th. So that's Haley moving up to 8th with that pass. Remember, he was back in 12th, but he's so far behind these guys. He's 25 seconds behind Bryce Whelan right now. And Whelan putting some serious heat on Daniel Mills. Whelan peeks inside, under the tunnel, out the other side. Mills holds it as they head into gravity cavity again. Both of them scrubbing opposite directions, landing in about the same spot. Different lines in the corner, though. That inside is kind of the preferred line if you can get to it, and Mills got to it very well, so he opened up a nice little cushion for the time being as he's trying to run down Eklund ahead. Chase Blakely, turnaround ride this time for the BPC number 21. Not the ideal scenario for him in the first moto. Siebold is down off the track, so Blakely is going to go by. Eklund is going to go by, and Siebold is going to not jump on the track in front of those guys. Good call. But instead, it turns into a bit of a battle between all three of them as Whelan just got around Mills. Then he has to avoid the downrider of Eklund, and they are all 3 wide as Mills went around the outside to pass them both as they kind of hung up on the corner. Siebold blew the inside rut, and Whelan had to not hit Eklund, so he had to jump a rut over, and it cost him some time. Mills took advantage of it, passed them both, and the battle continues. I think Whelan and Siebold might have a little bit more outright speed than Mills ahead of them, but Mills, ever the consistent rider, holding steady in front of them. 6.3 seconds is the gap out front to Gebhardt, who's trying to keep Leclerc as close as possible, but this battle right now for 4th is insane. Mills and Whelan still side by side, almost contacted. Siebold's trying to take advantage. He jumps over them, almost lands on Whelan. They both pass Mills. Now Siebold's trying to find a way through. He goes deep into the corner, blows the corner. Mills passes him back, and Whelan holds the spot. But look at Mills launching out to flat. Oh my goodness, Siebold launching even further, almost landed on the back of Mills there. And now Siebold's trying to find his way back through. Might be here inside line, heading into little tunnel section. And Mills going to go far outside and blows the corners, so that's going to be Siebold. Easy pass in the end, and here comes Eklund coming down in a gravity cavity alongside of Mills. So Mills holds steady in front of Eklund, and Haley's still further back of these guys, but Haley just hoping and praying they start having some moments. Whelan trying to catch Chase Blakely for 3rd. Meanwhile, Walter Gebhardt, that gap is coming down. 16.2 to a 20.9 last time by, but that's not really the whole story because I think outright speed-wise, Gebhardt's just straight up catching them. I was watching timing and scoring there for a minute, and it was slowly but surely dropping every time we saw Leclerc and Gebhardt come by. And Leclerc is about to have to deal with an extensive amount of lap traffic ahead of him. He's got 4 guys immediately ahead of him, and then another 7 or so that he's going to have to weave through at some point in the next 8 minutes. But sometimes being the first guy there is kind of the best, because they get the blue bar well in advance. They let you go fairly easily. Then the second place guy comes through and they're like, I don't want to let him go as easily, so they give you a bit of a harder time. Sometimes though, a lot of times it's usually leaders get on you so fast that you don't even get the blue bar, you don't notice what's happening, and suddenly you're in a fight with the race leader. And hopefully you don't take him down, but definitely is a scenario that's happened before. And Gebhardt is hoping that that happens. He is hoping that Leclerc gets into a little bit of a situation with the lapped riders. And Leclerc, for his sake, is just going to try to put down his laps, not think too much about it, just make the passes where he can. 7.3 second lead at a 2:11 flat last time by, and he's got 7 minutes and 2 laps remaining to try to sweep the day here at Unadilla and really extend his points lead. It's about to not even be a championship anymore unless Haley can figure stuff out. And Leclerc might very well be on his way to a world title and a national championship in the same year, which I do believe has never happened before. So creating a little bit more history for himself, if you will. Off the big tabletop, 6.4 second lead. Gebhardt again starting to reel it back down little by little, just chipping some time away. Leclerc, I think, is trying to be pretty steady and easy with the lapped riders, though. I don't think he's pushing too much. Gonna try to go inside here at the bottom of the hill. Back out the other side. Looks like Dylan Long down there in the bright pink gear. And this looks to be Peter Like on the MV Films number 83 that Leclerc is trying to lap. Peter's going to let him go with relative ease, I think. Yep. Leclerc launches out onto the start straight, gets that power back down underneath of him on that Rockstar Husky. Gebhardt again, chipping a little bit of time away. It was out to 7.2, down to 6.3. Just fluctuates, really. It's kind of just in this zone of 5.5 to 7.5, going back and forth. Leclerc lays down a 13 dead in traffic. Let's see what Gebhardt's able to put in. A 12.5 last time by, and he lays down a 12.2. So technically speaking, he gained 0.8 of a second that last lap. So can Gebhardt run him down? I do know one thing. Those two will go 1-2 or 2-1 today in this race because Seabolt's too far back. Blakely under attack now once again from Daniel Mills. Around the outside, Mills makes that pass happen. But Blakely's going to try to fight back on the inside here. Mills loves this outside line, and it just works as he drops into Gravity Cavity to hold the spot. Big whip on the exit of Gravity Cavity, too. Oh, mistake, and Blakely gets it right back. Back and forth we go, just as quickly as Mills had that pass completed. Just took a one minor little detail to throw him off out of the inside of the rut. And Blakely taking full advantage to go back by. So they continue their fight. Further back, it's Eklund in 6th. Ahead of Bryce Whelan in 7th. Bobby DeSalle is running in 8th. Reed Young is in 9th. And, Jack Haley running in 10th right now. So if it stays, if Leclerc wins this moto and Haley brings it home in 10th, then that would be a 14-point swing in the championship. So Haley, who was 16 down, would lose 14 more points as it sits. And he entered this round 5 down in the championship. Potentially about to leave this round, and it's going to get even worse. Now he's going to leave at 31 points down in the championship. Not the night Jack Haley would like to remember whatsoever. Mills still going after Blakely. Not wanting to let him go. And in fact, actually, they're battling for third now because Seabolt went down. So this is the battle for P3 in this race. Mills launching out a little bit further than Blakely. We've seen it work before. Get that little extra length on the jump and get the power down pretty similarly, and you still gain a little bit of time, and he's all over him. Look at this inside move, perhaps. Blakely ends up funneling back to the inside, and Mills now doesn't like that outside line anymore. He's changed it up. Goes inside here, and then scrubs hard out of gravity cavity to try to stay low and keep the pressure on Blakely ahead of him. Dropping back down in again. Bouncing in, too. And Seabolt suddenly has fought his way back into the mix here. So 3-rider battle coming. I know Blakely and Seabolt look like teammates. They are not. Blakely on the BPC Husqvarna. Seabolt on the Rockstar Husqvarna. And Daniel Mills sandwiched in between them on his JDR Jack Daniels Racing Suzuki. Coming up a minute and a half still to go, and here comes Seabolt on the inside of Mills. Gives him a bit of a panic rev to let him know he's there. And Seabolt back by Mills, so now he's going to try to go after Blakely. And as mentioned, time is winding down, just about a little over a minute left. And then that 2-lap board will come out to wrap us up here at Unadilla. Leclerc and Gebhardt disputing the overalls out front. This titanic battle for third, though, is a great one. Chase Blakely has third. Seabolt around the outside, gets hard on the brakes, makes the pass. Seabolt up into third. Blakely's trying to outdrive him up the hill, though, and he's got a great one. Launches, almost got back to the inside, but just couldn't quite get there. So Seabolt, 1 lap, passes both Mills and Blakely, who just continue to battle each other. It's the never-ending story in this one. Thought Mills might have a better line on that outside. Well, he's going to launch to flat and try to get the drive, but it just isn't enough. Seabolt is not losing touch with these guys as quickly as I thought he might. Oh, big crash back there for Mills. Sideways and down goes the 31 machine. So here comes Austin Eklund creeping into the picture just a little bit. Bobby DeSalle off the track back here. Bryce Whelan, Luke Magnetti, Reed Young, Caleb Hall, then Jack Haley. Haley is trying to get Hall back, and that is not going to help his case as he goes down at the bottom of Screw You. Won't get passed by Cohenauer, but things coming unraveled here real fast. Back to P12. And as it currently sits, going to lose 16 more points in the championship. He will be 32 points down in the championship. And if it wasn't for Adam Holm having a even worse race behind him, you might even start saying, well, what is Adam Holm going to do? Is he going to start clawing his way up into second in the championship late in the season, like he is in the Grand Prix circuit as well against Jack Haley? Unfortunately for Holm, he's behind Haley as well, so not gaining the points he needs to go after second in the standings. But quickly turning into the Leclerc show here in the 450 class down the stretch. And with only 6 motos left to be run, 32-point deficit is giant to overcome. As opposed to the 5 it was coming into tonight. And Haley just went down again after gravity cavity. Cohenauer and Holm both go by. And Haley will now be 34 points down in the championship. He is on his way backwards right now, people. He's about to get lapped by Leclerc, actually. That's how gnarly this is getting. As back out front with Leclerc, he has got a 32-second lead, so Gebhardt imploded there late in the race. And a 2:15.3 for Leclerc last time by versus is about to be probably the worst lap of Gebhardt's career. No, not that bad. 2:26.3, not terrible, but yeah, definitely lost a lot of ground. That was 10 seconds lost that last lap alone. And I wonder if Leclerc knows who he's about to come up and try to lap here before long. By the way, 2-lap board is out currently because time has expired, and Leclerc just checked in out front not too long ago. So about a lap and a half remains here at Unadilla before Leclerc stamps a 1-1 performance on the day. And this place is known for catering well to the foreign riders. Marvin Musquin frequently has won this race, as has Christophe Pourcel in the past, Dylan Ferrandis recently, I guess to Frenchmen specifically, but Ken Roczen's also had great races here as well. I think those deep ruts, unique soil, bit more of a technical, tacky track. The foreign riders excel, and although this is just a video game, it seems like Leclerc is keeping true to that mold because he has been fantastic here today. Didn't even need to hole shot both motos like he's normally accustomed to. But since then, it's been fairly smooth sailing. Gebhardt did momentarily take the lead in this race. Leclerc just launches so far across the start straight. But when all is said and done, gonna extend his championship lead and gonna be a big lead at the end of it. Seabolt, Blakely lapping Caden Speck right there. Daniel Mills has lost touch with Blakely by a lot. Austin Eklund is still trying to close up on him. So 1 lap to go here at Unadilla as Leclerc takes the white flag out front. Bobby Dissel trying to keep tabs here on Eklund. 14.8 to a 26.2 last time by, so Dissel absolutely ripping. Obviously, Eklund had a bit of an issue there that last lap, and Mills just went down, so that is going to be Eklund and Dissel gaining a spot. Eklund goes to 5th. By the way, I just saw Dylan Long disconnect from the server. He was on the left side of the track, and that was one of the few times you get to see somebody actively disconnect, but he disappeared from the screen and then disappeared from the track map, so he called it an evening early here. But he did score points in the first moto, so it's not all bad. Oh, Dissel, just as he was trying to go after Eklund ahead of him, falls, and now Mills hopping in behind him. Gonna try to go to the inside here, and Mills just straight up passes Dissel for 6th. Now Dissel tries to square him back off to the inside to get back by. Mills just keeps it on around the outside, though. And dropping back into Gravity Cavity once again. And out the other side, they get the white flag. So they now know they have 1 lap remaining. And fortunately for them, they have not been lapped. So things are looking on the up for them as they're trying to finish off their fight. Meanwhile, out front, Leclerc has about 1, 2, 3, 4 corners to go. And just about a picture-perfect day for the Frenchman. Trying to repeat his outdoor championship, which would be the first time someone has repeated an outdoor title in this game since Jesse Mullins. And in fact, he would be the 2nd rider ever to do it, I believe, now that I think about it. Fresquez couldn't do it, Dupuis couldn't do it, Jones couldn't do it. But Leclerc wins here in Unadilla, a dominant 1-1 performance. And so good that he just crossed the finish line, comes to a dead stop, and he's done, folks. Alexis Leclerc, he's over it. Jeremy Seabolt got around Gebhardt, as did Blakely. Gebhardt moved back to 4th. So Seabolt moved up to 2nd. And I think with that, well, Gebhardt's still going to get 2nd overall, going 2-3. Seabolt is going to go 15-2. on the day. I'm sorry, Gebhardt's going to go 2-4. Man, everything is all split up here. So Siebel crosses second. Blakely is going to cross the line third. Good turnaround moto for Blakely. In this one, 10-3 on the day for him. Gebhardt second overall with a 2-4 score. He's disappointed in himself. He thought he had a shot at the win. Ends up 55 seconds down at the end. Austin Eklund coming through. 7-5 performance. That is kind of borderline. Might be good enough for a podium, interestingly enough. Actually, I think Daniel Mills is going to get it. 4-6 is going to be to 7-5, obviously. Although, oh, DeSalle actually down the inside, just past Mills. Oh, man, that was close. 2/10 in it. DeSalle gets him. And Magnetti going to be 5-8, so a 7-5 for Eklund. A 4-7 for Mills, so 4-7 still beats it. Adam Holm and Jack Haley. So Jack Haley's going to go 6-9. Bryce Whelan, yeah, so actually I believe the 4-7 that Mills just put on the board is going to be good enough for third overall. That is ridiculous. 4-7 for third. Doesn't even finish third in a moto. And gets third overall. Whelan crosses the line 10th with a front flip. Cohenauer 11th. Caleb Hall is coming through here in 12th. Reed Young in 13th. And Adam Holm in 14th. Cuts are in. So it looks like Cale Braden was 20th, Ethan Parks 19th, Jeff Cooper 18th, Quentin McDaniel 17th, Brandon Holmes 16th, Devin Davis was 15th, Holm, Young, Hall, Cohenauer jumps Whelan for 10th, and Mills actually moves up to 6th, so he's going to go 4-6 as he jumps to Sell for P6. The rest stayed the same. Leclerc confirmed winner overall. Done and dusted. Huge points lead now for him over Haley in this championship, and 3 rounds left in the championship to go. So that is Unadilla done and dusted. We are wrapped up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this broadcast. Of course, big shout out to all of our sponsors, Ride365.com, Moto Option Clothing, Tagger Designs, Racetech Suspension, MXS Lobby, MV Films, Underground RC, and anybody else I missed. Thanks to you guys as well. Appreciate all the support every night we get here live on Start Your Systems, and we hope to see you guys next week for more action in the GPs and in the National Championship. But for Kellen Brauer and all of us here at Start Your Systems, we'll say see you guys next week, and so long for now.